Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The Immaculate Conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kinda odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Jesus is
Shalom. Shalom.
Welcome to another class here at ISBHPK Houston. We're located here in Houston, Texas. We're located here in Houston, Texas. The address of the school is 8524 South Bracewood Boulevard. Zip code 77071.
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
All that.
And we got classes here Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturday Shabbat morning classes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or a little bit longer depending on how class goes. We got classes in Albuquerque, New Mexico and San Antonio, Texas as well. We're gonna get that information for you. For the classes out there in San Antonio, Texas, the address for the school out there is 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas. Zip code 78217. And for classes in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the address for the school out there is 7710 Miniwall Boulevard, Albuquerque, New Mexico, zip code 87110. So if you'd like to link up with any of the schools out there, whether in Houston, San Antonio, Albuquerque, you got the addresses. Look out for classes coming out of Virginia as well. You got the brothers out there setting up the school out there as well. So coming soon, we'll have a new restructured kids class. It'll be coming in June. But in the meantime, you can watch the previous kids classes on ISBHPK Kids on YouTube. So go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to the ISBHPK Kids. You can get that out as well for your kids. And if you'd like to watch us on the cable show, we got the cable show. That's going to be on Saturdays, starting today. And it's going to be at 8 p.m. Comcast Local Channel 17. If you're not in the Houston area, you can stream it live at hmstv.org. And we got the Blog Talk Radio that's hosted by Priest Mashaba. And it's every Tuesday and Thursday, and it starts at 9:30 a.m. Again, we got the Blog Talk Radio, and it's hosted by Priest Mashaba. And it's every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 9:30, and that is broadcast out of Albuquerque, New Mexico as well. If you'd like to contact any of the priests, we ask that you text only during class. We got Priest Kazakia, his number is 281-707-2737. He's out there in Virginia. We got Priest Patazab right here to my right. His number is 303-557-8979. And if you would like to contact us through email, the email is isbhpk@isbhpk.org. And Israel Wear is back to accepting orders, so you can go on Facebook and place an order for a garment, a headband, a tunic, whatever it may be. And if you'd like to send any donations, last but not least, if you'd like to send any donation, if you'd like to contribute in any way, we got the Wells Fargo account number on the screen, and the Google Wallet is on the screen. Or if you'd like to mail anything to the school, any books, pads, pens, papers, you can use the school address of 8524 South Bracewood Boulevard. We'll get the address for the school that will be opening up in Virginia. So if you'd like to build anything to help out with the school that we're building in Virginia, we'll have the address for you to send books, pads, pens, papers, anything of that nature to that school out there in Virginia as well. And if you'd like to send a donation to the San Antonio camp or the Albuquerque, New Mexico camp, you can send it to the addresses as well. And with that, we'll go ahead and start the Sabbath ceremony.
Yeah, we'll do the morning prayers. We'll do the reading. Reading doesn't look too long. A couple of chapters. And then we'll do the closing prayers and then answer whatever questions y'all have. So, everybody, Aymadim Wapunya Yerushalayim. Rise and face Jerusalem. Everybody in here? Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Bathalanawa.
Bathalanawa.
Awar. Zayawam.
Thawada.
Thawada. Aman.
Aman.
Let's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the light this day. Thanks, so be it. And the light represents the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High. It's the lighting of the candles. It's the enlightenment of the Most High as well.
Hey, somebody turn off the fence.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Bathalanawa.
Bathalanawa.
Rayach.
Rayach.
Nayachacha.
Nayachacha.
Thawada. Aman.
Aman.
And it's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the sweet savor. Thanks, so be it. And the sweet savor is the frankincense and myrrh. As it burns, it represents us, our prayers going up to the Most High, and it's also a sweet savor onto the Most High as well. And you can read about it in Psalm chapter 141, verse 2, where it says, let my prayer be set before thee as incense.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Bathalanawa.
Bathalanawa.
Hashabbat.
Hashabbat.
Vashalom. This is Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Anashah.
Anashah.
Ayam Yah.
Ayam Yah.
Al. Haharyam. Ma'aya. Wabawa'a. Isarya. Yabawa'a. Ma. Yahweh. Sha'aisha. Shemayim. Wa'arataza. La'a. Yanathan. Amawat. Ragalia. Yala'a. Nabam. Shasha Wamar. Shashamarya. Hana. Yala'a. Na'awam. Wala'a. Yashan. Shashawamar. Yasha'ala. Yahweh. Shamarya. Yahweh. Tazalia. I'll. Yum Yad. Hashamash. Yala'a. Hakaya. Bayawam. Wala'a. Halabana. Balayala. Ba. La. Ya. La. Yahweh. Yashamarya. Makal. Rai. Yashamar. Napasha. Yahweh. Yashamar. Hawalakia. Wabawa'aya. Ma'aitan. Wa'ai. I will love.
Amen. This is Psalm chapter 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasharallah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Shema Yashala. Yahweh Allahayanawa. Yahweh Achad. Shema Yashala. Yahweh Allahayanawa. Yahweh Achad. Shema Yashala. Yahweh Allahayanawa. Yahweh Achad.
Hear, O Yasharallah, Yahweh our power is one.
This is the Lord's Prayer, which can be found in Matthew 6 and verse 9. Abanawa. Shema Shemayim. Wadash. Hayah. Shabka. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Baba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathanganawa. Lacham. Ka. Yawam. Wasalach Nawa. Hamawath Nawa. Chasalach Nawa. Hamawath Yanawa. Wala'ah. Abiyah Nawa. Wanasaya one. Abal. Hawashai Nawa. Mayan. Rad. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahafa Pa'arath. La'aywalanyu. Amen.
This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
This is the Ten Commandments, which can be found in Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. La'ah. Yahaya. Lakah. Alahayim. Aharyam. Alpanya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
La'ah. Ta'ayna.
Ta'ayna.
Laka.
Laka.
Pasal.
Pasal.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Ta'aybadam.
Ta'aybadam.
Thou shalt not take on slack. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
La'a.
La'a.
Talakwak'af.
Talakwak'af.
Sham.
Sham.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashawa.
Bashawa.
Thou shalt not take the name Yahweh thy power in vain.
Zakar.
Zakar.
Hayawam.
Hayawam.
Hashabath.
Hashabath.
Lakodashwa.
Lakodashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Kabad.
Kabad.
Abaka.
Abaka.
Ya'amaka.
Ya'amaka.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
La'a.
La'a.
Daratazak.
Barakazak.
Thou shalt not murder.
La'a.
La'a.
Dana'ap.
Tana'ah.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
La'a.
La'a.
Daganab.
Taganah.
Thou shalt not steal.
La'a.
La'a.
Ba'ayna.
Ta'ayna.
Shakur.
Shakur.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
La'a.
La'a.
Fahamad.
Bahamad.
Call.
Call.
Asherah.
Asherah.
Lara'aika.
Lara'aika.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Bahasham Yahawashi.
Hashem Yahushua.
The water.
The Lord.
From Yad.
The Yah.
Aman.
Aman.
Did we skip one? You know what? I think I skipped one. Let's start at number 8. Let's start back at number 6. Excuse me. La'a.
La'a.
Daratazak.
Barakazak.
Thou shalt not murder.
La'a.
La'a.
Dana'ap.
Tana'ah.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
La'a.
La'a.
Daganab.
Taganah.
Thou shalt not steal.
La'a.
La'a.
Ta'ayna.
Ta'ayna.
Shakur.
Shakur.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
La'a.
La'a.
Fahamad.
Bahamad.
Call.
Call.
Asherah.
Asherah.
Lara'aika.
Lara'aika.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Bahasham Yahawashi.
Hashem Yahushua.
The water.
The water.
From Yad.
The Yah.
Aman.
Aman.
Yeshabia, which means to be seated. Yeshabia. Oh, Yeshabia. Slap.
All right, so that was the morning Shabbat ceremony prayers, the opening prayers. So we're going to get into the reading. We're going to salute the first brother up. So he's going to state his registry, his name. He's going to say his name, tribe of, whatever tribe he's from, of the nation of Israel. Okay, so we're going to be in Leviticus, the 21st chapter and the first verse. So salute the first brother up.
Hey, come here. You take that plate. Smoke.
Major, Shabbat Shah, Yahawada, Bun, Yasharala.
Major Shabbat Shah, Yahawada, Ban Yashala. I imagine. Right?
Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatah. The AC is on, right? It's blazing hip hop and R&B. It is blazing hip hop and R&B up. It's hot. We're going to be at Leviticus 21 and verse 1. Leviticus 21 and verse 1.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 1. And the Most High said unto Moses, Speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, for his kin that is near unto him, that is, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his sister a virgin, that is nigh unto him, which hath no husband. For her may he be defiled.
What does it mean by him being defiled? Who knows? You can tell me. So what is going into when it says, it tells you in verse 21, and the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priests. So what we're getting is the ordinances that the priests have to follow. All right, so when we read in the when we read last week, we were in Leviticus also. It just hit you with various laws. But this 21st chapter, this is going to go into the priests specific. And you'll see that a lot of the laws that the priests have to follow, the nation had to follow. So not everything was specific to the priests. Like they talk about the garments, that wasn't just specific to the priests. The border of blue, the fringes, that was for the nation. When it goes into, it's going to go into some other subject matter that's not just specific to the priests. So here this is talking about, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people. Because when you went amongst the dead body, it defiled you. When you dealt with the Nazarites, so they weren't supposed to go around the dead, right? Because it would defile them. So this is telling you the only way a priest can go around a dead body is these stipulations. It says, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin. So he was only dealing with the death of his family, his kin. But it tells you what kin. It says for his mother, for his father, for his son, for his daughter, and for his brother. For his sister that is a virgin, which has no husband. For her he may be defiled. So it's showing you what family members he was supposed to, he could defile himself for, as far as attending funerals and things like that. Right? So remember, it's given us these different ordinances. Go ahead, read verse 5. Oh, read verse 4. I'm sorry, yeah.
Leviticus 21, verse 4. But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. Mm-hmm. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard.
Now, I know this was a touchy one last week, right? Now, last week, what happened? We read in Leviticus. We read in Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 27. I'm gonna read it. It says, "Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard." Now, I did a lot of research on this. I stayed up one night. I was researching because I said I would. I told y'all that I would do some research, and the scriptures say, "Prove all things, hold fast to that which is good." Now, one of the things that I found and in the research was that, and we all kind of know this, that the Egyptians, they shaved off their whole head, they shaved off their beards, they shaved their bodies. One of the Egyptian customs was that, or one of the Egyptian beliefs was that hair made you unclean, or it was defiled to have hair. So they would shave. Some of them would shave daily, depending on how your social status. If you were the pharaoh had a barber that lived with him that would shave him daily because he didn't want no hair to be on his body. Then you had some, other men, they would go to the barber shop. They had barber shops back then where they would go and get shaved, their whole body, shaved, women, everything. They would go shave off all the hair. Some would go every other day. So, again, depending on your social stature. So the Egyptians didn't have hair. They balled it all off. So it's telling us right here, thou shalt not make baldness, right? You shouldn't make yourself bald. If you can grow your hair, grow it. So if the Egyptians made themselves bald, then go to Genesis real quick. This is further proof. Go to Genesis 41. Remember when Joseph was taken captive by the Egyptians? What's one of the first things they did when he was brought to the Pharaoh, or before? They shaved him. Now, and we're going to go into it, they shaved him. Now, back then, were they like electric razoring? They were shaving with the razor. They were putting that blade on the skin. Now, if you know anything about a razor and how it works, just a single edge razor, it goes against the skin. It cuts the skin a little bit to pull those hairs up and get those follicles. So there was a reason why the priests weren't supposed to shave. All right, we're going to get into it. There's a difference between shaving and pulling. Where it said Absalom pulled his hair, we're going to go and see that there's a difference between shaving and pulling. All right, so read Genesis 41 and verse 14.
Genesis 41 and 14.
Uh-huh.
Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph.
Right.
And they brought him hastily out of the dungeon.
Right.
And he shaved himself.
Right. He did what?
And he shaved himself.
Right.
And changed his raiment. And came in unto Pharaoh.
Now, he shaved himself. Didn't say he trimmed. Didn't say he pulled. He shaved. Yeah. But it wasn't just his beard or his head. He shaved his body because this was the Egyptian custom. To shave yourself. Now, check this out. I'm going to go and show y'all where I'm getting the information from. There's where's it at? Go here real quick. Let's see. This is in the McClintock and Strong's Biblical Cyclopedia. I'm going to read it. It says, the Egyptians, on the contrary, sedulously, for the most part, shaved the hair of their face and head and compelled their slaves to do alike. Okay? Now, there's a book, there's a Greek historian named Herodotus, where he has it's a book called The Histories. Now, this man, he lived amongst the Egyptians. He was a Greek, he lived amongst the Egyptians. He documented their customs. So he's documenting what the Egyptians are doing and how they dealt with their slaves. Now, the one thing about us being captive in Egypt is that they allowed us to keep our beards. Why? Because they deemed the beard, if you had a beard in Egypt, you were the lowest on the totem pole in society. So they were like, well, y'all can keep y'all beards. That's going to separate us from you. And it shows that y'all are scum. You Hebrews are nothing. So we kept our beards in Egypt. Okay? So it said they shaved their slaves. So that's where, when Joseph was brought to Pharaoh, they made him shave. They made him shave his head, his hairs, his body. Let's see here. It says, let me get to the point. Give me one sec. Now, it says, from the above facts, it is clear that and all I did was looked up beards when I was getting this definition. I looked up beards in the McClintock and Strong. or shaved. I looked up beard, shaved. It says, from the above facts, it is clear that the Israelites maintained their beard and the ideas connected with it during their abode among the Egyptians, who were shaven people. This is not unimportant as one of the indications which events that whenever they learned of good or evil in the country, they preserved the appearance and habits of a separate people. So we preserved our ways even in Egypt. Remember, we were their slaves at a time, but we were still able to preserve our ways, our custom. Okay? So and the reason why I'm bringing this out about the Egyptians is because a lot of the laws, most of the laws that we got were to combat the things we learned in Egypt. But they were also to set us up to combat the things that we were going to see from the Canaanites and the other nations. So if the Egyptians were shaven and they had hair, that means that there were some other nations. When it says don't round the corners of your beard, this was showing you that there were some other nations that kept their beards, but they did something to their beards, and the Most High didn't want us to follow that. Right? So we know that Joseph was taken, he was shaved. Right? Shaved off his beard, shaved off his head, more likely shaved his body. If he had body hair, they got that away. The Egyptians didn't want no parts of body hair. Let's see here. Now, jump back to Genesis or Leviticus. Where you at, Leviticus?
Leviticus chapter 21, verse 5, last precept.
Right. Read that.
Nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
Right. Now it says they shall not make baldness in their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard. When you jump back to Leviticus 19 and 27, it says, ye shall not round the corners of your heads, nor shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. So when it goes into that rounding the corners of your heads, there was a custom amongst the Arabians who kept their beards, but they would sacrifice the corners of their heads and beards to a deity. Now, check this out. Under the word hair in the Maccletoch and Strong, when you look up hair, it says, clipping the hair in a certain manner and offering the locks was in early times connected with religious worship. Many of the Arabians practiced a particular tonsure in honor of their god Orthoth. Now that's a translation of Bacchus. Now, y'all know who Bacchus is? Bacchus is the god of, plenty. Yeah, well, he's the god of excess. But excess partying, excess wine, drinking. When you look into Bacchus and you research him, it said that he was effeminate. They were about his looks. He looked like a young boy, but he had effeminate traits. So he was a man that acted like a woman. And he had nice, long, flowy hair, and he would tie his hair in an ivory wreath. He would tie his hair up in ivory. And he would carry around an ivory, like a staff. He looked like damn Aquaman, basically. He just, you know what I'm saying? That's what it reminds me of. When I see that, I'm like, look like Aquaman, the gay version, right? So, it's in honor of their God, and hence the Hebrews were forbidden to round the corners. Now, it's going to tell you what the corners are. Round the corners of their heads, meaning the locks. So you notice how it refers to hair as locks, right? The locks along the forehead, zip. The temples, zip. And behind the ears, zip. So today, modern times, what would you call that?
Edge-up.
You call that an edge-up, right? Now, I know the thought thought is, well, I'm not sacrificing my hair to a guy when I go sit in the barbershop. And I'm like, give me the tape up, right? Con, we know that. We know that you're not thinking on that level of let me sacrifice my hair. But it goes back to what? It goes back to when the Most High said, the doings of these lands you don't do. Practicing what they practice you don't do. That's what it goes back to. It's like when you were in the world and you celebrated Christmas. You didn't celebrate Christmas to some devil knowingly, right? You celebrated Christmas because that was the birth of my Lord and Savior, right? That's Jesus' birthday, y'all, right? That's what you thought.
That's what they told us.
That's what you thought. That's what they told you. That's what you believed. But Halloween, that's just for the kids. That's just for the kids, man. Ain't no harm in that. But then when you came into the truth, what happened? You learned demon worship, demon worship, demon worship. So this is no different. Just like how we went through the whole birthday class. And you learned that the cake had a demonic entity attached. The candles, the wish, the day, all the calendar, the birthday itself. These things all had a demonic attachment to it. Where you're like, damn, I have my children celebrating candle magic from the age of 1. I didn't know that. Let me stop. So, if you needed the proof, here it is. If you needed the proof, here it is. It tells you what parts of the hair, because when you look at it, I'm going to use him as a demonstration. What they were doing was, whoop, they were coming just like that and making it a circle. Now, let's deal with the Chinese people. When you watch like them old Jet Li movies, right? They got the ponytail, but it's rounded. Why would they have their? You ever ask yourself why the hell they got their hair like that? What custom is that? To have your hair just rounded and you shave off the literal sides. But now, think about it. Remember when cats start getting the action? Remember when the weekend had like the spider dreads?
Yeah,
right? The what?
Free locks, like
bro.
Freeform locks.
Yeah, that shit. Look, bruh, that wasn't freeform. Then the way he slept shaped them locks, right? Like he slept in the back of his head and he was flattened out. But then he came with a different haircut. He came with like that mohawk taper. And everybody started growing out their hair on the top and shaving off them sides. Now, we know damn well that these dudes be worshiping and celebrating demons. We know that. We know that these musicians, not every single one of them, but they push certain things out there for the masses to follow it unknowingly. And you're unknowingly worshiping demons or sacrificing to demons, this deity. And then what does it do? It continually keeps us lost. It continually keeps us sinning. It continually draws us further and further from the Most High. I know y'all are like, man, it's just hair. God, it is just hair. But it had there was something significant about it to this God, where he was like, you need to shave the corners. And then we're so lost in society, we're so lost in vanity. Remember, Bacchus was the god of excess. He was about that vanity, that look. Remember, he was a man, and I could go into Bacchus and pull that out, but he was a man with effeminate traits. So now, think about that one guy that you saw in the mall that was a guy, but he was effeminate as hell. What was he about? He was about his look. He was about his appearance, right? The scriptures talk about, get that from me, about abhorring a man for his look. It's in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes, right? Get that, Jermaine. You know where it's at. See, he's in there. Sharp. Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 2.
Ecclesiastes 11:2.
Read.
Commend not a man for his beauty,
right?
Neither abhor a man for his outward appearance.
See how the scriptures is giving us balance, that you're not supposed to look at a man for his beauty or for his outward appearance on either end. Now, if no one else is looking for it, then you shouldn't be caught up in it, caught up in the vanity of looks. We shouldn't be. A lot of us are, though. Now, when you get caught up in that, you get caught up in the customs unknowingly. That whole taper, remember, man, go, just use your Hebrew brains, put on the Hebrew goggles and say, did David sit there and be like, let me get a taper? Did he have time to sit there and get a fade? David was on the run from Saul 7-8 years. Did he have time to, man, let me get that taper real quick. Let me get that number 2 on the sides and that number 3 on the top. However they say it. I haven't been in a barbershop in years. What is it? Let me get the number 1 on the side and the 2 on the top. I don't know. What is it, Jermaine?
Ball fade.
Ball fade, right?
Yeah, ball
right.
Like,
You're right. It's ball on the sides.
ball on the side and around.
Yeah. He wasn't talking about let me get the boosie. Let me get that boosie. That little boosie fade. Wasn't doing that. That military fade, it was just real high. It get bald all the way to here. And then you got some hair right here. High, they call it high and tight. Yeah. It does look tight. It looks gay. That haircut is whack. Yeah, bro, they be loving that. That old Sergeant Slaughter haircut, just a patch of hair on the top. But think about it. It's the same thing. It's a patch of hair on the top, and everything else is bald around. Now, what custom you following? Who invented that? See, we got to always go back to the origin of things. That's what I like to do. Go back to the origins. Check this out. So it tells you to here. It says, right? Probably derived from the Hebrews. Let's see here. The practice of, check this out. The practice to the expression is probably derived from the Hebrew practice expression. Rounded locks. Rounded as the locks. Let's see here. Another one. It says the prohibition against cutting off the hair to the death of a relative was probably grounded in a similar reason. Now, when it goes in and it talks about ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. It's talking about these temples and here and here. Now, what they used to do, they didn't wait to go get no razor and literally cut it to make, they would literally get seashells and cut the skin out. They said mar the corners. They would literally get whatever instrument they could, sharp rocks. Think about trying to cut your hair with a rock. You're going to cut the skin. So they would literally cut the skin of their heads. So if someone died, on the spot, they would get something to start cutting the hair off their heads. But now they're cutting the actual skin off their heads, man. That's how barbaric these people were. That's why he went down. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead. Because that's what we would do. One of our signs of mourning was what? We would shave our heads. But we'd at least shave it the right way. That way we weren't cutting the skin off. They wouldn't wait for a razor. They would get seashells, sharp rocks, whatever they can get to get that hair off right there on the spot. So you got to do the research and see what customs were being kept up and what were we looking at. So that's what these people were about. Now, if you deal with a razor and the way a razor works, a razor cuts that skin. Now, if you let's deal with a T-liner, the clippers they use to edge you up. When you angle it a certain way, like you can shave with a T-liner and it just cuts your hair real low, right? To where you got stubble. Or when they take that T-liner and you're etching markings into the skin. That's why when they hit you with the alcohol when it's done, what burns? That edge-up burns like a mug because you're literally cutting the skin. You're marring your skin for that edge-up. When they get the extra crispy lines, come on, man. To get it extra crispy, they dig it in there. They line up. I'll tell you how they do it. They open up that T-liner, they line them blades up a certain way so that they're sharp. But then sometimes they be so sharp, they cut that skin open. You can feel it when they hit you with the alcohol. Right here, it be burning like a mug. And then a few days later, what happens? You see it scab up. And if you get enough edge-ups, you got to wait a longer time for that skin to heal because it's sensitive. I used to be the edge-up king. That's probably why I ain't got no line now. I used to be in there edging it up back in the day. I didn't know. Edging my own hair up when I was 16. Learning how to cut my own hair. I'm looking whack. Out there looking whack with a bad edge up. Line just uneven. But your natural hairline, there's nothing wrong with a natural hairline. It just grows. It does its thing. This is the easiest thing you can do as a man, is just let your hair grow when you got it. Now, check this out. Go back to Leviticus. So y'all understand that, right? Go back to Leviticus, because we're going to jump to another part as we read. We're gonna examine the difference between combing and shaving, because there is a difference. And the reason why this is important, because we're talking about it. We're talking about it right now, so we understand that you ain't supposed to cut off. You're not supposed to round your hair off. Today, the modern way to do it is just go get an edge up. That's the modern way. You got to understand. I'm going to get it real quick. The information is there, man. Go to Leviticus 18:3. See, the Most High makes it very clear, because these Arabian nations, these other nations, they were around in the land of Canaan also, the land that we were supposed to go take. Now remember, what did the Most High do before we went into Canaan? What did he do? He sent 12 men, right? To go spy it out. Remember, they were there for 40 days. So they were looking at how the people were moving, and they were checking out their customs. Now, if they were off and wicked, they would have came back like, man, these niggas just edging up. Man, they got that dope tech, they got the tight fades over there, man. We got to start doing that. Huh? Imagine if they were, if some of them came back with an evil report, right? 10 of the 12. So it wasn't that they came back like, man, the land, like these dudes are strong and this and that and that. They could have came back with a lot of different reports. Like, and they over there edging up. And it looks good. We want that. They over there getting tapers. You know what I'm saying? They got the ball fade with the number 1 on the top. They got the boot. They over there getting Boosie fades. Right? Y'all seen little Boosie's fade? Come on. Go ahead, read.
Leviticus 18:3.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Oh, you got it. Oh, right now? Read that real quick. What are you reading to? Okay, go ahead. Read that real quick.
Leviticus 18:3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, ye shall not do.
Okay, can you just finish? Okay, go ahead.
Ye shall ye not do.
He said after the doings of Egypt we shouldn't do. Come on.
And after the doings of the land of Canaan.
Now we weren't even in Canaan yet.
Whether I
but
bring
these
you.
Other nations were there with beards rounding off their corners. The Egyptians didn't have beards. So this couldn't be a law that he was giving us to combat the Egyptians. These other nations were doing that. These Canaanites, these Arabians, Ishmael, they were doing these things. Go ahead.
Whether I bring you, shall ye not do.
Right. Jump back to Leviticus 21.
Leviticus chapter 21, verse 6. They shall be holy unto their God, and not profane the name of their God. For the offerings of the Most High made by fire, and bread of their God, they do offer. Therefore, they shall be holy.
See how you said that they offer the bread of their God and offerings made by fire? Because these other nations were offering their hair. They were giving their hair as a sacrifice. They still, you know what's crazy? They still do it. That Indonesian bundle. They go to their temple and offer that hair to their God. You gotta do the research. I was watching a whole video on it, man. The men, the women, and the children, they go and they offer their hair to their God, and then someone buys it, they make it into a business, $1 billion business, them bundles. That Indonesian, that North Indian, that South Indian that y'all be getting, that Malaysian, they're sacrificing their hair to a god. That's where that whole process starts. But that's something that they kept up from all the way back in the ancient days. Go ahead.
Verse 7. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband.
Right, so a priest wasn't supposed to take a wife that was a whore. He wasn't supposed to take a woman that was polluted. She wasn't supposed to be divorced. Go ahead.
For he is only unto his God. Verse 8. Thou shalt sanctify him therefore, for he offereth the bread of thy God. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Most High, which sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profaned her father, she shall be burnt with fire. And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes. Neither shall he go in to any dead body, nor defile himself or his father.
And when it's talking about uncover his head, the priests obviously didn't have their heads covered, but they wore their bonnets, but they had that middle piece cut open. Go ahead.
Or for his mother. Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God. For the crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or profane, or an harlot. These shall he not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, the Most High, do sanctify him. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations that have any blemish, let him not approach to offer bread of his God. For whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man, or a lame, or he that hath a flat nose, or anything superfluous.
Uh-huh.
What does he mean when he says a man that hath a blemish?
Well, it's telling you. It says, Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations and hath any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his God. And he goes down and tells you what the blemishes are. Right. Whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach. Blind, lame. So basically, any birth defects. You can't have no birth defects and come and offer the bread. You can eat of it, but you can't offer it.
I was going to say it's because you're representing. It says the priest of Aaron, so they're going to be ministering for the Most High. So it's like you're representing the Most High. So you can't have. It's just like if you think about it, it's like America's military. You can't have a certain deformity, or you can't have this certain type of thing going on with your health for them to enlist you into their military. You got to be a certain way. It's the same thing with the Most High. When you're going to be doing that office, you can't have certain things going on with you.
I mean, he said you can't have a flat nose. Wow. You can't be blind, lame. You can't have a flat nose. You can't be broken-footed, broken-handed. You can't have a crooked back. You can't be a dwarf. You can't have any blemish in your eyes, or be scurvy or scabbed, or he that have his stones broken. So you can't have any of these defects at that time to be a priest, man. The Most High, listen, he wanted that unblemished. It's no different when you came and gave your offering. It had to be a sheep of the first year, unblemished.
Yeah, the offering had to be unblemished as well.
Was that also because they believed that you might have been cursed from a previous life?
Well, we know that they did deal with the reincarnation and something from the previous life when you read in St. John 9. I'm not going to say that that was the stipulation on it. The Most High just wanted perfection. The Most High wanted a standard. Yeah. So, besides, think about it. If you had these ailments, you weren't able really to do the priesthood anyway. If you were lame or blind, you couldn't offer any animals. You couldn't sacrifice no animal. You lifting up 100-pound sheep, trying to sacrifice them. You have to have your full strength, full faculties.
Can I give a scripture?
Yeah, what you got?
It's Numbers chapter 18, verse 12. Just on the point that you had said, it says, all the best of the oil, and all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto thee, unto the Lord, them have I given thee. Just showing the Most High, he wanted the best of everything. The best oil, the best wine, the best wheat. So when you were going to make an offering unto the Most High, it had to be the best. Why would you give, think about it, if you was going to give something to somebody you care about, you're going to try to give them the best that you can give them. Why would you give them the worst? It's the same thing with the Most High.
Yeah, he wanted the best of the best, man. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 19. Or a man that is broken-footed, or broken-handed, or crooked-backed, or crook-backed, or a dwarf, or that hath a blemish in the eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or hath his stones broken. No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the seed of Aaron, the priest, shall come nigh to offer the offerings of the Most High made by fire. He hath a blemish, he shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his power.
Any questions?
Mm-hmm. Back in verse 18, when it says, or anything superfluous means unnecessary, excess, extra, spare, remaining, useless, unproductive. So it's like you being born with like a third arm,
or an extra finger,
extra toe.
Yeah, you couldn't perform the duties of the priest. Okay. Anything else? All right, let's salute the next brother.
Listen.
Don't shoot the messenger. I know y'all cats love y'all papers, man, but don't shoot the messenger.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jermaine Shabbat Shalom. Yahawada Bun Yashala.
Jermaine, Shabbat Shalom, Yahawada, Bun, Yashala. I mug it. Right?
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Barakatham.
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Barakatham. You said what? That time went by so fast. It's all good. Yeah. Don't shoot the messenger.
I didn't know it was just strictly for priests.
What?
Like it would be right. You know, just the blemishes.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it is. Everybody. I didn't know that was just
That was the priest, baby. Priests have to be pure. No. We're at
Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 22. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're gonna read to 22 and 18.
Leviticus 22 verse Leviticus 21 verse 22. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. Only he shall not go into the veil.
You know what? Real quick. So Leviticus 21 and 18 says not to have a flat nose. Now, you know it was real weird back in when I was young and I was coming up. People would tell me like, especially like my mom would say it, and just like other family members. You know, I got a bigger nose than a lot of people in my family. I got a bigger snodge. We know what they would say. They would say you got a Jew nose. They would say you got a Jew nose, and I'm like, Jews got big noses? That was before I even knew anything about us being the real Jews. Now, you do have flat-nosed people, but this is the thing. You ever see people that have they're born? It's a birth defect. Cleft palate. That's what it is. It's a cleft palate, and what it does, their nose appears flattened. Then they have those scars. They gotta give them surgery?
Yeah.
Oh, they have to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What is it? Y'all tell me. I don't know. But
It interferes with the breathing, and sometimes it's sometimes mostly cosmetic.
Right.
It interferes with the breathing, so they reconstruct the upper mandible.
oh, okay, because right up in here, but they leave because they gotta go up in here and get cartilage and put it in the nose. Right.
They're lacking the cartilage in the roof of their mouth. Sometimes it's open.
Oh wow, so they're underdeveloped. They haven't developed. It's a birth defect. That flat nose, people were born with cleft palates. That's what it is. Cleft palate, yeah. When you see that, but when you give a profile of that person, usually it's flat because the cartilage hasn't developed. So the Most High was talking about that person. You know, people with those type of birth defects. What you looking at? Yeah, you look at a cleft nose. Oh yeah. There's plenty of people. There's a chick at that I hit at that I go to at the Starbucks. She got a cleft palate. It's funny because she's Asian. They usually have flat noses, but then she has the cleft palate. It's like wow, real flat. So that's what that was going into. Just mind you, a lot of things that is going into here are what? They're birth defects.
Yeah.
They're birth defects. Crooked back. A dwarf, a blemish in his eyes, or be scurvy, or scab. These are going into a blind man, a lame. Usually when you're lame from birth. You got a lame hand or a lame leg. That's usually from birth, man. Or anything superfluous. When you look up that, anything extra. People get the birth defects. Again, the extra toes. You know, you got 11 toes, you got that extra pinky. Y'all have seen it. I remember back in the day, man, you ever met a person with an extra pinky? That was the most scariest thing ever. But the pinky didn't even move, it just sat there. You're like, damn, you can't even move it. It's weird, like a weird appendage, just there. Now, I don't really think you see that too much. I haven't really seen a person with an extra pinky in a long time. They get them removed? Yeah, they get them removed. Do they remove them at, like, that's a thing now? Like let's just remove it? Like it's a circumcision? Damn. Yeah, because I haven't seen that in a while. I haven't seen that in a long, long time. You know, you got people that, and obviously, you know, people born with the webbed feet, things like that. They say that's like incest. But this is showing you about these birth defects, man. The Most High just wanted, even a lamb and sheep, they were born with defect. They would be lame, they would be scabbed, they would be spotted. The Most High wanted the pure to represent him. That's all it was. So yeah, hopefully you got that. Yeah, it says Judah, it says flat nose. Heathens try to say that all Judites are born with flat noses, which they try to use and say that they aren't the real Jews. So what's a flat nose? Yeah. I mean, if I got a flat nose, then there's something wrong because my nose is out there. You know, I could never get enough nose jokes. I've heard them all. You know what I'm saying? I've heard all the nose jokes. They used to call me Toucan Sam, all that. Yeah, they used to get it in on me. That's why I became so vicious with the jokes, because you gotta learn how to fight back. Got into a lot of fights back in my day over this nose. You know? So, but that was one of the things they would say. You gotta, my people, my parents and aunts and uncles, they say you got a Jew nose. Funny thing is, they all had the same nose as me, just a little smaller. That's all it was. So yeah, let's jump back. nose humor.
Leviticus 21, verse 23. Only he shall not go into the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he hath a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuaries, for I, the Lord, do sanctify them. And Moses told it unto Aaron, and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel. Leviticus 22, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord. Say unto them, whosoever he be of all your seed among your generations, that goeth unto the holy things which the children of Israel hallow unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord.
So what made a man unclean? There were a few things. That seed of copulation, when his seed went from him, he was deemed unclean. Touching a dead body, doing certain offerings, made a man unclean. If he touched anything that a woman that was on her menstrual touched, he was unclean. So it's telling you here that a man that's unclean wasn't supposed to go and do his duty in the priest, or touch anything in the temple, because he was unclean. So he shall be cut from the presence. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. What man soever of the seed.
Go ahead.
What man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper, or hath a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things until he be clean. And whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goeth from him. Verse 5, or whosoever toucheth any creeping thing, whereby he may be made unclean, or a man of whom he may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he hath. The soul which hath touched any such shall be unclean until even, and shall not eat of the holy things, unless he wash his flesh with water. And when the sun is down, he shall be clean, and shall afterward eat of the holy things, because it is his food. Question on this. So is that why, like, you hear, like, in not necessarily old time, but like parents will say, "Hey, wash up for dinner." And this verse 7 where it says, "When the sun is down, he shall be clean, and shall afterward eat of the holy things."
Well, think about it. You know, one of the customs before we ate was to wash our hands, wash our feet. So you would wash up because that was a representation of you being clean. So, you know, if you're running around and you know how kids are, you're running around, you touching things, hey, go wash your hands real quick, wash your face. Yeah. You know, because there were some things that we did that were just lodged into our spirits, and we did unknowingly. But we did it for what sake? We're doing this for cleanliness' sake, right? We're not doing it for the sake of keeping the law. It's like that's just a clean thing to do. Why do you think now when the apostles ate without washing their hands, the Pharisees were like, they went to Christ like, why do your apostles do the things that are unlawful? They eat without washing hands. And Yahweh had to go in there and show them it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but it's what goeth out. So yeah, it was our custom to do things in a cleanly manner, and it went down from generation to generation. Now, man, niggas will use the bathroom, do a number 7, get right to the food court, and just eat. They put the damn bathroom in the food court of the mall. He'll do a number 8, walk out, won't wash his hands, right? and smash down the Philly cheese, fingers and all, just licking them. You see, I've seen it. I'm a washing hand freak. I wash my hand. That's why they be so dry. People, why are your hands so ashy? When I'm in that mall, oh my God. Bro, I can't wash my hands enough. Every minute, I'll be right back. Which I'm about to go wash my hands, touching people, touching the oils, touching this, touching that. And I'm one, if you see, I touch my face a lot. So I'm like, man, I can't keep touching my face and my hands be dirty. So I'd rather my hands be dry and ashy than wet, moist, and festering the hand disease and the bathroom touch. And yeah, bro, you don't know, man, if you watch people, the things they do with their hands unknowingly, the things you touch, you know, you touch a door in the mall. Watch a little child, how they operate with their fingers. Their hands are the first thing that touches everything. It doesn't, and they don't have no discretion. They'll rub their whole hand in the dirt, come back and grab a cookie, eat it, lick their fingers. You ever look at a child's hands after 10, 15 minutes? Just the whole hand is black under the nails. That's why they gotta wash up, man. But they think about what they touch, and then we come right back and touch it. So you know, it was about keeping clean, and we just handed it down from years of, you know, that just being in us. But now we're animals. You see Esau, man, on the movies.
Yep.
They'll have intercourse and then what? They'll just pull off their pants, walk right out to go to work.
Don't smoke in the bed.
right in the bed. Like,
damn, bro.
Man, what's up?
I had a question, but my question, I saw something where they got a restaurant now where they eating off each other's naked bodies. But anyway.
I said they got a restaurant where they're eating off each other's naked bodies.
Oh yeah, sushi.
Sushi body?
Raw, yeah.
Eating raw, so they're eating diseased meat off of diseased bodies. That is disgusting.
It says touching any creepy things, that referring to unclean animals or something that's...
Yeah, let's talk about unclean animals, those bugs, you know, the creepy bugs. Where you at? What verse?
Verse 5.
Verse 5. Whosoever touches any creeping thing whereby he may be made unclean. Yeah, let's talk about whatever was, you know, when you go into Leviticus 14, it talks about all the creeping things that creep that we weren't supposed to touch or eat because they were unlawful. Yeah, it's talking about those things. So, you know, you touch certain bugs. You know, what do kids love to play with? Roly-polies and worms. Right? And different types of, you know, they start collecting them. And that's what I did when I was small. I was young, roly-polies, man. Y'all knew exactly where to go. You wait till it rained. You go pick up the biggest rock you can find because they love that moisture. And you just get them. You get a bunch and you roll them around. They ball up. You put them in a jar. You get other bugs, you know, that would eat them. Oh, yeah. We used to have fun as kids, man. But we were touching and messing with unclean things. So that made us unclean. Think about how much laws you broke as a child and didn't even know it. And then even as a grown-up and didn't even know it. That's why that mercy and grace has to be there. Because, man, we'd be wiped out. We'd be wiped out just off the fact of a woman on her menstrual cycle. Oh, wow, they're literally eating off this chick's nakedness. That is terrible.
Like, what's the point of that?
I don't even get it. Hopefully she washed up. More than likely she probably did.
I hope she did.
You say you hope she did that?
Yeah, if you that dumb to do something like that,
Like, I hope she didn't take a shower.
Yeah. that body salt. Ugh. Go ahead, read on.
Leviticus 22, verse 8.
Yeah.
That which dieth of itself, or is torn with a beast, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am the Lord. They shall therefore keep mine ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die therefore. If they profane it, I the Lord do sanctify them. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing, a sojourner of the priest, or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it. And he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat.
Because remember, where were the priests getting their meat or their daily portions from?
People that are making off.
Right. It was the people that were coming and sacrificing, right? They were bringing their offering. They were bringing their sacrifice, so the priest would get a portion of that. So these things were consecrated to the Most High, first and foremost, and then to the priests. So you couldn't just be any old Joe Smo coming up talking about, let me get a piece of that. Let me get a piece of that, that beef shoulder. Nah, bro, it's for the priests. This is mine. This has been consecrated and sacrificed to the Most High. You couldn't be no stranger that's rolling up like, man, what y'all got over here to eat? It didn't work like that. There were things that were for the priests, and there were things that were for everyone else. Go ahead.
Verse 12. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of an offering of the holy things.
So you see that? Anything to do with a stranger, it was you couldn't partake. Go ahead.
But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced and have no child, and is returned into her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat, but there shall no stranger eat thereof. And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly, then he shall put the 5th part thereof unto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing. And they shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto the Lord, or suffer them to bear the iniquity of trespass, when they eat their holy things, for I the Lord do sanctify them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say unto them, Whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, that will offer his oblation for all his vows, and for his free will offering, which they will offer unto the Most High for a burnt offering.
Right. Any questions? Next reader.
Louis, Shabbatashah, Yahawah, Bun, Yasharallah.
Louis, Shabbatashah, Yahawah, Bun, Yasharallah. I imagine. Right?
Yahawah Hashem, Yahushua Brakatam.
Yahawah Hashem, Yahushua Brakatam.
See, everybody else is in the spirit, bro. You ain't. See that? Everybody else is in that spirit with you. You around here, the ones that are off. Pants. The pants.
Yeah, that's definitely not an Israelite thing, eating off dead bodies or eating off anybody. Well, let me stop, man, because you got them filthy Israelites that they remember to do the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. He was licking that ice off of Rosie Perez. So it's all, come on. And she was sweating, too. Yeah.
Y'all remember do the right thing. Some of us are old enough. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
It was hot in Brooklyn.
Leviticus 22 and 19.
Leviticus 22 and 19. Ye shall offer at your own will a male without blemish.
You see that? Here it goes with this offering again. A male without blemish. Go ahead.
Of the beeves, of the sheep, or of the goats.
Beeves are just cattle. Cows, oxen, bull. Just another word for cattle. Go ahead.
But whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer, for it shall not be acceptable for you.
True Israelite. We just went through and showed that Edge-Ups aren't fine. You gotta rewind the video. You gotta rewind the video. Go ahead.
And whatsoever offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a farewell offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be a perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein. Blind or broken or maimed or having a wind or scurvy or scab, ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto the Lord. Either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything surplus or lacking his parts, that mayest thou offer for a free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. Ye shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised, or crushed, or broken, or cut, neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land.
Now you know what's crazy about that, because when you look at how the meat industry deals with their animals, and you're not supposed to really eat a cow that's been down.
Yeah.
Because it shows a sign of the cow has got some disease or whatever it may be. But then when you watch how they deal with these cows, where they like pushing them around with forklifts, the cow is down, but the cow is so heavy they got to use a forklift to move them. Then they grind them up, throw them in your ground beef, right? And then what happens? You get mad cow, you get all these different diseases. You weren't supposed to deal with these animals that were down, or you see the goats that be having an extra limb hanging out. There was something going on with this animal.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the cow, how they do it, they keep the cow pregnant. They keep the cow pregnant its whole life.
Oh yeah.
So that when the cow gets pregnant, the cow can only produce milk while it's pregnant, or while it has a child. So pretty much the cow gets pregnant. Now they can get the milk from it. As soon as the cow delivers the baby, they get the cow pregnant again, so that the milk production can keep going. So the cow gets overexhausted
and overweight.
And if it's a female cow and they let the cow stay,
it has to be a female to get pregnant.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like a baby that's born.
Oh, okay.
If it's a girl cow, they let it stay, but they take both of them. But if it's a girl, they let it stay. But if it's a boy, they immediately take the boy, and if they need more males, they'll use them as for male. But they take them and they use him for the veal or for the veal.
Oh yeah, veal. Yeah, that's what veal is. It's baby. It's tender meat.
Yeah.
Tender baby cow. Yeah, veal. That's baby cow. And the scriptures tell you about that. You're supposed to be eating no cow. You're not supposed to eat any animal under a year.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to see the calf in his mother's milk. Meaning, when it says see not a calf in his mother's milk, you're not supposed to slaughter this cow while it's still nursing. But they do that. Esau will do that, and they got borderline. They'll borderline it. They'll hit it between 9 months and a year. But you're supposed to wait for it to be off the milk to eat it. But they, for Esau, they're filthy, man. Veal. They like that tender meat. So that's what they do. Well, you're not supposed to kill any of it when it's that young. You got to give it a chance to mature a little bit. Go ahead.
Leviticus 22, verse 25. Neither from a stranger's hand shall ye offer the bread of your God of any of these, because their corruption is in them, and blemishes be in them. They shall not be accepted for you. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, when a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam. And from the 8th day, and henceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And whether it be cow or ewe, ye shall not kill it, and her youth both in 1 day. And when ye will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will. On the same day it shall be eaten up. Ye shall leave none of it until the morrow. I am the Lord. Therefore ye keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord. Neither shall ye profane my holy name, but I'll be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord which hallow you, that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. Chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord.
Any questions on chapter 22? So 21 and 22 deal with the priests and how they stay pure. 23 is going to transition into the high holy days. Okay, so it's a change of topic now, just so y'all know. Sister Mary.
You're still talking about the offering, not in the when it's 96, right?
Well, that's what we were talking about. Well, it was talking about the offering. It was talking about the priests that could offer. They couldn't have no blemish. So it's kind of talking about the same things. Remember, the priests were basically set apart for the Most High.
It's giving your best gift.
It's giving your best gift. Right. Right. Go ahead. Where you at? Say it again. Oh, you're reading to verse. What you reading to? Oh, verse 7. You got a question? Is eggs against God's law to eat? Are eggs against God's law to eat? No. Eggs are not unlawful because, well, okay, what eggs are you talking about? Because snakes lay eggs. You ain't supposed to eat snake eggs. If you're talking about chicken or a lawful animal, yes, you can eat the eggs. So if it's an unlawful, you can't eat the eggs of a hawk or a goose. You can't eat the eggs of an eagle. The unlawful birds. Remember, reptiles lay eggs too. So you can't eat their eggs. If you're talking about lawful animals that lay eggs, yes, you can eat their eggs. Unlawful animals, no, you can't eat their eggs. So it just depends on what eggs you're speaking of. What's that? Oh, right. Yeah, but the reason why you got to say it like that is because many different animals lay eggs. Yeah. It's easy. Deal with the lawful animals that lay eggs. Cut and dry. Remember, snakes lay eggs. Some lizards lay eggs. Fish lay eggs. Right? So you don't want to be eating that. Snails, they lay eggs. Oh, see, snails lay eggs.
Isn't caviar eggs?
Yeah,
fish eggs.
Caviar. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But you can go right to the Leviticus, the 14th chapter. Leviticus 11. So 11 or 14? It's Leviticus. Yeah, you can go to Leviticus 11 chapter. It tells you the whole dietary law. What is lawful to eat and what's unlawful to eat. Okay? Go ahead. Jump back to where you at. Leviticus 23.
I'm going to start over here because I actually forgot where I was at.
23 and 1.
Yes. Leviticus 23 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts.
What is a convocation? Right, the act of assembling by summons. So, the Sabbath, you got to see it. He says, Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which he shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. What's the first one that he starts with? Read. Verse 3.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
So he said, these are my feasts, and the first one that he names is the Sabbath, because you were able to eat on the Sabbath. You weren't prohibited to eat on the Sabbath or to feast on that day. It was a feast. It was a holy convocation. It was a gathering. Go ahead.
And holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Right. So the first feast is the Passover, signifying the beginning of the year. Right. We just had the Passover. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
Right, so you have the Passover, feast of unleavened bread. Go ahead.
In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation.
A holy gathering, or a gathering by summons, right? So you were basically subpoenaed to come to this gathering. Like how they subpoena you to court, you gotta show up. It's the same thing with these high holy days, man. It's the same thing with the Sabbath. You were supposed to be here to congregate and gather with your people.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
That's it.
You know what? Read one more. Yeah.
Read to 28th chapter, 28th verse.
Leviticus 23 verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the 7 days in holy convocation, ye shall do no servile work therein. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord, to be accepted before you. On the morrow, after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And ye shall offer that day when ye weigh the sheaf of the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, and 4th part of an hin. And he shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears unto the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto the Lord. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. Seven Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out your habitations 2 waved loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord.
Right, so Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, 50 days later, or 7 Sabbaths, it's the Feast of the First Fruits. Right, so we should be coming up on that here pretty soon. Right? Can we have this? You see that? So that's going to be, let's do the feast. Pentecost, right? First fruits of the Feast of Pentecost. So that's coming up on June 7th. So we got about a month and a half. No, we got about 3 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks. Because today is what, the 17th, 16th?
18th.
Wow. Time Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, so we got about 2.5 weeks for that. For the Feast of Pentecost, or the Feast of the First Fruits. Man.
Yeah.
Time is, wow. Go ahead.
Leviticus 23 and 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 bullock, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams, and ye shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord.
Why did he have to tell us? Why did it have to be told to give a ram without blemish, or what you brought? Why did it have to be told to us? It got to have no blemish, the best grapes, the best flour, the best this, the best that. Why did it have to be told? Because what?
They would sell food.
Yeah, because we would have brought the beat up animals and kept the best for ourselves. Right, that's where it had to be taken. But my question is, why did the Most High tell us to do that? Because the way we thought, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring the lame, the broken, the maimed, the blemish. I'm gonna bring the blemish because I don't want to get rid of the best of the best. So you have to make sure he told us, man, because in our spirit, it's like go to Romans real quick. Go to Romans 12 and verse 1 real quick. Go to Romans 12 and verse 1. We go here a lot, right? We hit the scripture a lot, but I want to show y'all something. Read that.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God.
So, what is this telling you, this Romans? If you link what we read in Leviticus to Romans, and he's like, I want the best of the best. Without blemish, without spot. What does that mean when you present yourself holy and acceptable? That means that, Abadiah?
You can't half-step. You can't assume that you're bringing the best when in your spirit you're not really
Not?
right? That the Most High is going to accept that.
Right. See, the Most High is not going to accept when you come half-stepping, half-assed. I'm going to use that word. When you come in autopilot, when you like, yeah, I'm here, your body is here, but your spirit is down by the beach, right? Where you should have the sign that says, wish you were here.
Jackets.
You got it's like the Most High, man, he wants the best of the best. So he wants the best you.
And I was going to also add, talking about just in reading this scripture here in Leviticus, because their best, that was their livelihood, so it was worth a lot.
Yeah.
So in not giving the Most High their best and giving them, or even thinking about giving them anything less, just was indicative of their lack of faith that the Most High would take care of them and provide for them, despite giving their best.
What you deem the best.
What you deem the best. Right?
Lack of faith, right?
Time.
Lack of trust in the Most High. Because even with the Feast of the First Fruits, you're supposed to bring the best of the first of the fruits, right? And then you have to wait for the rest to be yours. So you were bringing the first things that grew. So you have to have some faith here, right? So remember, when it says the law is good and just and holy, the law is spiritual, but I am carnal. See, faith was part of the law. You had to have faith to serve the law or to serve the Most High in truth. You have to have faith. Now I'm gonna go right back to the question I asked. Right, we ain't skipping over it. If the Most High said to present your body as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable, what does that mean? Tiana. Right, but what does that mean? That we were supposed to be without blemish. Remember, you're not an animal, right? You're not a lamb that somebody had to bathe and brush and feed. You're a thinking human being that had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So what does it mean that you got to be acceptable? Abadiah.
I would think that knowing the law, we weren't supposed to defile our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be always conscious of the Most High in our doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because anything we do, we're supposed to be doing it unto Him.
Right. That's first and foremost. Knowing that whatsoever you do, do it wholeheartedly unto the Most High and not unto man. First and foremost. Secondly, go here to Ecclesiastes. Go to Ecclesiastes 9.
In verse 10.
In verse 10. Go to Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. Go to Ecclesiastes 43 and verse 30. There was a certain way you were supposed to present yourself to even be found acceptable. Remember, you're here willingly, so you already got that step down, where there first be a willing mind, then it is accepted. But was it just your willingness? Well, if you were willing, that means all these other things were supposed to happen. They fall in line with one another. Right? These things were going to fall in line if the mind was willing, like it says, then these things would fall in line. Now you got to check your spirit and say, well, wait a minute, how come these things ain't falling in line? Well, let's check your willingness. Let's check your willingness. Read Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 30. Or the first one, what was it? 9 and 10. Read that. Ecclesiastes 9 and 10.
Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10.
Uh-huh.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do.
So once you give yourself willingly, and the Most High accepts that, now what you put your hand to, come on.
Do it with thy might.
Do it with what?
Thy might.
Autopilot?
Thy might.
Half-ass.
Thy might.
Well, I'm here in body, but my spirit is on the move. Read it again.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
Read.
For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave.
Yeah, because when you're dead, you ain't going to be able to do nothing. You were supposed to serve the Most High with all your might and all your power while you can. Read the next one.
Ecclesiastes chapter 43, verse 30.
Read.
When you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can.
Do what?
Exalt him as much as ye can.
Come on.
For even yet will he far exceed.
Yeah, because as much as you think you're doing, the Most High far exceeds what you can give. Does that mean, well, the Most High is greater than me, so let me just come halfway? Of course not. He said, whatever you do, do it wholeheartedly. He said, exalt him as much as you can. Even when you think you can, you reach the pinnacle of perfection. Most High's like, nope, got a long way to go. But is he gonna look down on you like, oh, you're trying, you're trash? Nah, of course not. He said it, where there first be a willing mind, then it is accepted. Not according to what a man hath, but what he hath not. Go ahead.
And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for you can never go far enough.
You see that? We can never go far enough when it comes to giving ourselves the right way. It's about giving you, he said, holy and acceptable. He didn't say any old way. Now, a lot of us come in any old way because we don't know. But that's when you're supposed to change yourself into that holy, acceptable sacrifice. Putting off the old man, putting on the new. So, it's a spirit check, man. You got to check yourself and say, well, wait a minute. Why am I not giving my all? Well, am I willing to give my all? Am I willing to give that sacrifice? All right, let's jump back. Let's jump back. Where are we at?
Verse 18, I believe.
Go ahead.
Leviticus 23, verse 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering, and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire, a sweet savor unto the Lord. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the firstfruits for a wave offering before the Lord, with the two lambs. They shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest. Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor, and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation.
Right, so after the Pentecost, you got Feast of the Blowing of the Trumps, right? That's going to be in September. Go ahead.
Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
And we know the Day of Atonement was when we fasted for 24 hours, sun up to sundown, no food, no drink, right? To atone for our past sins, and we would afflict our spirits with that no food and no drink. Try to get those, whatever those strongholds you got on you, try to get those things in check. Prayer, fasting, alms, right? So remember, this chapter is just giving you like a brief when the high holy days are, and it's giving you them in order. So if you didn't know, it's all right here in this chapter. Yes, sir.
Why didn't they mention like the Feast of the New Moons when they were going through all these complications?
Why did they mention the Feast of the New Moons? I'm not sure. Well, look at it like this. And that's something we got to look into, all these new moon Sabbaths and new moon feasts. I mean, the Most High didn't give it to us to celebrate here. He didn't give it to us. So that's not what he wanted us to, that's not at this time what he wanted us to celebrate. You see that? Yeah, Samuel, right there said, let me see here. Right, but yeah, we've been meaning to go into these new moon feasts, and I mean, there's so much controversy on even what a new moon is. And there's different things out there like the slither or the full or this or that. So once we figure that out, then we go into the new moons and do it like that. But I mean, they're not listed here because that's not what the Most High wanted us to do. That makes sense? Yeah, I mean, you got to see here, he's just giving us, he said it. Verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. So he gave us what he wanted to celebrate here in this chapter. And then we know like Hanukkah came through the Maccabees, right, through the rededication. But yeah, at this time he didn't put new moons as a feast.
It wasn't David like Solomon celebrating new moon feasts?
Right, but at this time, remember, David and Solomon were here. This is what we got to deal with what the Most High wanted at that time. Not saying that they didn't celebrate them.
Where did that come into play?
Well, like I said, we got to look more into that. Right. Because you can read it in Samuel's that they did it.
Yeah.
We got to do more research on where these things came, where they came about. Like we can tell you, Hanukkah came from the Maccabees, right? They did it because of the rededication of the temple. That's why we do Hanukkah. But I mean, even here, we don't do the new moon feasts. We don't do the new moon Sabbaths. We don't do that. You know, am I saying that it's wrong or it's off? No, we just got to do the research here to make sure that what we're telling people to do is the right thing, right? Again, there's so much controversy of what is even a new moon. Israel is confused on that. You know, because some believe that the new moon is the little sliver of the moon. Some believe the new moon is the full moon. There's different thought on what the new moon is. So once we get that down, then we'll go from there. It's hard to celebrate something if you don't even know what it is.
Some say it's completely dark.
Some say the new moon is completely dark. So you got 3 different beliefs on what the new moon is. You see that? So to not just throw something out there, we just stick to these feast days. You know, even the Sabbath, they got the new moon. Some schools do the new moon Sabbath. But again, what is the new moon? And according to who? Because the scriptures, as far as I've seen, it doesn't say the new moon is this. Right? It just says the new moon, but it doesn't tell you, it doesn't describe it. You see what I'm saying? You see how that gets tricky? Where now the new moon could be whatever we want it to be. New moon could be the damn half moon. So, we do know that the moon goes on a 30-day cycle. So every 30 days it does its cycle where you'll see the sliver, you'll see no moon, you'll see the full moon, you'll see the half moon, quarter moon. Every 30 days it does that cycle. We just got to figure out and do the research. What is the new moon? What is that really considered? And then we can go and look into these feasts and do it like that. That makes sense? No. But yeah, they did it. You read in Samuel's, they have feasts at the new moon and things like that. Where we at?
Verse 28.
Oh, that was it? Any other questions? No? Yes, sir.
I do have a question, but it's on it's on verse 18, chapter 23.
Okay.
I was just wondering, has anybody ever tried ram? Like, have they ever ate ram?
Ram?
Ram.
Yeah, it's just a goat. They call it a ram goat. I made plenty of rams. It's the male goat.
Yeah, eat some curry goat.
Yeah, I made plenty of ram.
I've never had that.
A ram goat? Yeah, they call it in Jamaica, we call it a ram goat. I made plenty of ram. Oh, yeah.
The rams are the ones with
the horns, yeah.
Okay.
But even some of the ones that we got, not the ones that we got, yeah. Some of the ones where we got our lambs, some of them there, they had horns. Where did this come from? It's a ram's horn. Yeah, so they literally pull them, when they slaughter them animals, they pull them out their head. You'll see some of them there alive with one horn. You get that horn, they shave that down, they hollow it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, the ram goats, yeah, that's the male goat. Yeah, real tasty when you curry him. Oh, yeah. Real tasty.
Cook them well.
You gotta cook them down real nice so it gets tender. Cause that's some tough meat, man. That's tough meat.
That was that tough meat on the plate.
No, well, no, that was lamb. You know, you gotta be able to season meat and prep it for a while. The Passover meat, you can't sit there and prep it like that and let it marinate and tender down. Nah, we was in a rush. We had time to tenderize that meat. You had to eat it in haste and cook it in haste.
So would we say that was probably some of that lamb, that ram that we
No,
had?
that was lamb. What we got was lamb. We didn't get goats.
Okay.
Yeah, we got lambs. But all meat is tough. When you get tender meat, it's because it's been marinated for a while. We didn't have time to marinate that meat. It's the law. Yeah, it was good. But you ain't got time to marinate that. You know, when you kill it the day of and things like that, there's no marination time. There's no 24-hour marinate in the fridge. right? You just gotta season them up and cook them as is and go on. So.
The first time I had ram when I was goat when I was stationed in Virginia, the samurai gave me some, and I asked him for the recipe, and he told me he wouldn't give me the recipe because if you cook it wrong, it'll make you sick.
It's the it might be the curry. I know curry makes you sick if you eat it cold. I never heard of ram or goat making you sick if you cook it wrong. I mean,
with the curry, you gotta cook it long too.
With the curry, you gotta cook it down though. You gotta cook curry down. But I know if you eat curry. Yeah, if you eat curry raw or cold, you eat that curry powder not cooked all the way, it'll make you sick. You'll get a running belly. Wow. Yeah, you get diarrhea. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you got to be careful with the curry. Anything curry. Curry chicken, you don't cook it right. It's not the goat. It's not the meat. It's the seasoning. Especially if you get like some of that Indian curry, that curry that look like mustard color. Yeah, the one that be staining your hands, it turns things like neon green. Yeah. That curry, it's potent. It's potent, but it'll upset the stomach if you don't cook it down than if you eat it cold. Never eat curry cold. I eat food cold, but not curry. Yeah. Anything else? No. All right, let's wait. You read here. Who's the next reader? Oh, William. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Curry up.
William, SABBATH, Yahweh, Ban Yasharah.
William, SABBATH, Yahweh, Ban Yasharah. I might. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatam.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatam.
We're at Leviticus 23 and 29. You gotta read to 24 and 5.
I didn't read 28, sir.
Say it again?
I didn't read 28.
Okay, read 28. 23 and 28.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 28. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is the day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people.
So if you didn't want to fast, you was get cut off. Everyone was supposed to fast that day. Go ahead. And everyone that fell under the law, you can't expect your 2-year-old daughter to fast 24 hours or your 5-year-old child. Like, no, it don't work like that. Adults, all right? Go ahead.
And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, that soul will be destroyed from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever, throughout your generations, in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month at even, from even until even, you shall celebrate your Sabbath.
You see, it shows you from even to even, sundown to sundown. Just going back into Genesis. They started at sundown, sundown to sundown. Right? Go ahead.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this month shall be the feast of tabernacles for the 7 days unto the Lord.
Right, the Feast of Tabernacles or the Feast of Booth. That's where we commemorate where we lived in booths. We lived in tents in the wilderness. So what do? The ones that are able to do it They get their tent, they go into the wilderness, and they live in a tent for that time. How many days is it? Let's see. Go ahead. For 7 days. Right, 7 days. So go ahead.
On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days shall ye offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. Ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and a drink offering. Everything upon this day, besides the Sabbath of the Lord, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your freewill offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. Also in the 5th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruits of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the 1st day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take you on the 1st day the boughs of the goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in the booth 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Most High.
Right. So remember, we were wandering in the wilderness 40 years. We were moving around. So everything we lived in, all our dwellings were like tents. We were able to take them apart or pull them down and move to this place, move to that place. The tabernacle, right? That was able to be moved. Everything was mobile. So remember, he said that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I have a question on the booths, because I would see like the Orthodox Jews, they would take like palm leaves
or olive branches.
Yeah, olive branches, and have those like outside their patio or something like that, and cover. My question is, do we do anything like that?
I mean,
like eat there, like I would see them.
Like you saying, get the branches and do all that. Well, it says to do it, so if you can, do it. If you can, do it. I mean, we haven't gotten to the point where we out in the wilderness. It's hard to get into the wilderness out here in Texas like that. Just because of all the things we got going on, it's hard to shut everything down and just go to some mountainous area. We definitely want to do it. Or just go to some area where you dwell in a tent. With the businesses and things like that. We definitely want to get to the point where we can do it. So, and keep it the way it was intended to be kept. Do we observe the days? Of course. Do we congregate and get together? Oh yeah, definitely do that. But as far as getting to the point where we've dwelt in tents for 7 days, we haven't gotten to that part yet. So, I mean, if you can do it, do it. We definitely want to be able to fulfill, the scriptures say rehearse the righteous acts. Not that you were going to get it right on the first try, but you keep rehearsing until you get it right. All right? Anything else? Where we at? You're going to go to verse 5.
Leviticus chapter 24, verse 1. The Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually. Without the veil of the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation shall Aaron order it from the evening unto the morning before the Most High continually. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before the Most High continually.
That was it? That's it. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. And thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2/10 deal shall be in 1 cake.
Right. Now he's going to take over and read to verse 23. Yep.
Leviticus chapter 24, verse 6. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, sits on a row upon the pure table before the Lord. And thou shalt put frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. Verse 9. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons, and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him of the offering of the Lord made by fire by a perpetual statute. Verse 10. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel.
Because remember, when we left out of Egypt, it said it was a mixed multitude, right? So here's a representation of that. It says an Israelitish woman with a son whose father was an Egyptian. So this man was an Egyptian. Else it would have said this Israelite man, right? So it's giving you got to see how it's about to jump into a different set of laws to deal with something concerning a stranger or an alien. Read.
Second precept.
And the son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord.
So this right here is letting you know that, like when it tells you in Numbers 1 and 18, the pedigree goes according to your father, who you are. This right here is telling you that. It's telling you that in a roundabout way, because it said an Israelite man, right? It says the woman. It says, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together. So this woman's son and an Israelite man fought against each other. Why did it just say 2 brethren? Because they weren't. Because his father was an Egyptian. So that's how you know that the pedigree, that your nationality is determined by your father. By the seed of your fathers. There's another scripture to add to that. Numbers 18. Numbers 1 and 18. Right? It's number 1 and 18. Somebody get that one real fast. If you pay attention to these reading, man, you'll get a lot of scriptures that edify, a lot of precepts. Read that.
Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month.
Right.
And they declared their pedigrees after their families.
Come on.
By the house of their fathers.
By the house of what?
By the house of their fathers.
Right. See, your pedigree, your bloodline, and your lineage is determined by the house of your fathers. Just like they use that word pedigree, they use it for what?
Dogs.
They use that for dogs, right? That word is more commonly used for household pets than it is for humans. The funny thing is, we'll use the word mixed. Oh, I'm mixed. No, dogs are mixed. Dogs are mixed up. But to show you the purity of a dog's blood, if it's a pit bull, his pedigree is 100% pit. His mom was a pit. His pops was a pit. She was a blue. His pops was a red nose. He's pure pit. Dogs can be mixed because you got a damn Chihuahua pit bull mix, Rottweiler Shepherd mix. You can have these different mix of dogs, but it's showing you here that a man's pedigree can't be mixed up. You are what your father is. And then when you go back to that story that we're at in Leviticus, it's telling you an Israelite man strove with an Egyptian man. It just don't say an Egyptian man, but that's what he was. So y'all understand that, right? So just more scriptures and ammo to add to your arsenal when people come with that nonsense. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed, and they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan. Verse 12.
Right, so his mother was of the tribe of Dan, and her son, being an Egyptian, being a stranger, he blasphemed. The Most High ain't real. I don't believe in your God. This ain't never been done before. Right? As far as now here amongst Israel in the wilderness, this ain't never been done. So now it's like, wait a minute, what do we do with this guy? How do we handle this? Moses, go ahead.
Verse 12. And they put him in ward, that the mind of the Lord might be showed them.
Right, so they were like, okay, well, let's jail him. They bounded him up, and they went and they counseled. What was the mind of the Lord? Well, let's go to Moses. Let's go to the elders. Let's see what the Most High got to say about this. We're going to hold him in jail for a moment. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring forth him that had cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head.
Right.
And let all the congregation stone him.
Yeah, he going to be put to death just like an Israelite that blasphemes.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Verse 15. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Whosoever curseth his power shall bear his sin.
Now, he was directing that to Israel. But check this out. This is how you know that he was dealing with this stranger.
Verse 16.
Go ahead.
And he that blasphemed the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death.
Come on.
And all the congregation shall certainly stone him.
Read.
As well the stranger.
As well as the stranger. As well as this Israelitish woman's son. Or any other strangers that were there. Because remember, was she the only, and think about it, was she the only woman that had a son by an Egyptian? You know what they was doing, man. They was probably running through, raping our women, right? Sleeping with them. Some of our women, some of our men. I like them Egyptians. They're smooth skinned because they shave every day. We was talking about earlier, right?
Yes. Did they refer to her as Israelitish because she followed the custom?
She didn't say that she was an Israelite. That's it. She was an Israelite. It says that.
Verse 11 says she's a tribe of Dan.
And in verse 11 it says she was a tribe of Dan. So she was an Israelite. But she kept the custom of the Israelite. Right, that they call her Israelitish. But she was an Israelite by blood. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It said, and his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan. So she was an Israelite by blood. Sometimes we pay attention to the way it's written in the words, but don't pay too much attention to the wording, so much what it's saying. That wording will throw you off sometimes. Like Israelitish, what does that mean? Was she part Israelitish, part not? Well, guess what? Half of her parent could have been the other. It only tells you about one parent. Another one of her parents could have been an Egyptian, right? But it stated her pedigree to let you know she was actually an Israelite by blood. So y'all get that, right? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 16. And he that blasphemed the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death, and all the congregation shall certainly stone him. As well the stranger, as he that is born in the land, when he blasphemeth the name of the Lord, shall be put to death. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. And he that killeth a beast shall make it good. beast for beast. And if a man causeth a blemish in his neighbor, as he hath done, so shall it be done to him. Verse 20. Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he hath caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again.
You gotta see why Christ had to come, man. You gotta see why Yahweh Shai had to pop up on the scene and really set things straight. Because if it was eye for eye, tooth for a tooth, niggas be walking through here just bullet wounded, just missing limbs, just maimed. Think about, you had instances where you injured someone by accident. Blemish for blemish. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if he didn't die. You got the story of the man. It said if he swings the axe and the axe comes off and hits his neighbor and kills him. But if he didn't die in that instance, he was just paralyzed or something. How is somebody going to be able to hit you hard enough to paralyze you but not kill you knowingly? Think about that. So that's why Yahweh Shai had to come on the scene and set it straight that you can't render evil for evil or railing for railing. You can't be eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. It can't be these things, else we be wiped out. And what it does, it festers that hatred, man, that grudging. So you got to see where, Yahweh Shai had to come and give the understanding of these parts of the law that we didn't get. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 21. Leviticus chapter 24 and verse 21. And he that killeth a beast, he shall restore it. And he that killeth a man, he shall be put to death. Ye shall have one manner of law, as well for the stranger as for one of your own country. For I am the Lord your power. And Moses spake to the children of Israel that they should bring forth him that had cursed out of the camp, and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses.
Right, so you're going to get treated the same way as if you were a stranger or as an Israelite. Any questions on Leviticus? We're going to jump to Ezekiel 44 and 15.
Give me a comment, y'all got it?
Ezekiel 44. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 15. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me. And they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith the Lord God. They shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge. Verse 17. And it shall come to pass that when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them.
Right, because that linen kept the priests cool. Right, when they wore that wool or that mixed fabric, they would sweat. The priests weren't supposed to be in the sanctuary ministering and doing the work, sweating, dripping sweat all over the offering. Come on, man. You know when y'all be cooking, you be getting hot in that kitchen, you in there sweating. I remember I was watching. I used to watch Hell's Kitchen. I used to watch Hell's Kitchen a lot, and there was one guy, man. He was in there sweating profusely, dripping sweat. You know, Ramsey went up in that guy's spirit. But he had his towel, and he would wipe his face. Then he would wipe his hand in the same towel. Then he was dripping sweat in the scallops. Right? He was sweating all over the beef Wellington. Hilarious, man. Disgusting. You know, Ramsey kicked him out of the kitchen, but you know that's nasty, man. That's filthy. You just sweating all over the offering, profaning the sacrifices. Got blood mixed with sweat, trying to sprinkle. Most High wasn't with that, man. He wanted things to be clean. So you wore that linen so it breathed. It helped it breathe. It got that, linen keeps you cool. It helps you breathe. It's that tropical fabric. You rock that wool, that's what keeps you warm. It's thick. It makes you sweat. Go ahead.
And no wool shall come upon them. whilst they ministered in the gates of the inner court and within.
That's it? Where we at? Where'd you at? 17? Verse 18. Ezekiel 44:18. This is it. I'm the last reader, so anybody got questions online, put them on there so we can hit the questions. And then we'll end with the Sabbath ceremony prayers. So if you got questions on anything, put them in the chat. Verse 18. They shall have linen bonnets upon their heads and shall have linen breeches upon their loins. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. Right? And when they go forth unto the other court, even unto the other court to the people, they shall put off their garments wherein they ministered, and lay them in the holy chambers. And they shall put on other garments. So you weren't rocking the priest garments. They weren't just wearing those to bed like pajamas. You weren't doing the priesthood and then going out and rocking the uniform so you could pick up women. Nah. You had to put that off and put on your regular clothing, other clothing. These garments were holy. They were consecrated for the work. They shall put them in other garments, and they shall not sanctify the people with their garments. Verse 20. Neither shall they shave their heads. I want y'all to pay attention. Neither shall they shave their heads, nor suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only poll their heads. So, you see how the scriptures is giving us a difference between poll and shave? Right? It says don't shave your hair, but they can poll it. Now, when you shave, let me ask y'all a question. And y'all already know, when they shave, what do they shave with? Back in the day. They shave with a razor. What did a razor do when you shave? It cleaned the hair off and made you, there was no stubble, there was nothing. It made baldness. It made you bald. Right? When you polled your hair, what did that mean? What does it mean to poll?
Trim it up.
Right. Trimmed it. Trimmed it. They use scissors or some type of cutting clipper or whatever. They trim the hair. Watch. Poll. It says, now there's different definition of poll because you take a poll of people, right, for voting, but to poll the hair, let's see here, where's it at? It says to clip, to cut off the ends, to cut off hair or wool. Let's see here, to pull the head. Right, so it said, yeah, to crop or to clip. Now, when you shave, where is it at? Pull, shave. To shave off, to cut off, to pare, close. So you're getting real close to that skin, right? To cut or to pare off something from the surface of the body by a razor or other edged instrument. Scalping by rubbing, scalping, or drawing the instrument along the surface. So the Most High didn't want us drawing anything along the surface of our skin, right? To cut the skin, to create that baldness if you weren't already bald. So the priests, they weren't supposed to be shaving, but they could trim. So when they told you that Joseph went in and they shaved him, they took a razor and cut his body hair off and his skin and his beard and his head. So just showing you the difference between those things, shaving and polling. It tells you that Absalom, he pulled his hair yearly, and he got about 200 shekels in king's weight. So he was trimming his hair. He was trimming his hair up. When you read about, where is it at? Let me see. Check this out. What's that?
So like, when I got out of the military, everybody knew the first thing you do when you get out, you let your hair grow.
Let your hair grow.
Yeah, I had afro like out the here.
Right.
But I never used to like line my hair. I would line my hair with scissors, so that would have been okay.
Like your fro?
Like my lining, I would just use scissors to snip a line.
Like, what do you mean? What line though? Like this?
Yeah, I would just use scissors. I wouldn't put a razor. I would just use scissors to snip.
Yeah, but you trimming it. Yeah. But see, there's a difference when you do an edge up and when you do a polling.
But
there's a difference.
It would still look like it was.
But there's still a difference because when you put that edge to your skin, right, it's causing that marking, right? But when you're using clippers, that's different. Or scissors, that's different. That's polling or trimming. So there is a difference. You see what I'm saying? There is a difference. So, I mean, it's hard to get a crispy edge up with some scissors. That ain't easy. Right? But if you're just getting away loose hairs, yeah. Like he could get away some loose hairs right now. He could hit it with the scissors. That's lawful. That's lawful. I mean, he did it the other day. He did it the other day. He let the fro out and then hit it with some scissors. I was like, bro, you looking uneven right now. He was like, yeah. Trying to do the Amsterdam. Right? This cat hit his hair, man. He should have got some help. He should have definitely got some help. Right? So there's a difference between polling and shaving. Plaits. You know, even when it talks about the locks, people like really take that literal, like it's talking about actual locks. It's not. That's what they called hair back in the day, locks. Right? What little story was it? It's one of the little fairy tales, man. They called it, was it Rapunzel? No. Goldilocks. Did she have dreads? No. She had long flowing. When you look up a lock of hair, all it was, it signified a curl of hair. So a lock of hair would be, if I cut off, boom, that's a lock of his hair. So hair was called locks. Remember we read earlier about edging or rounding the corners? It said you cut off the locks behind the ears. Just talking about hair. I wasn't talking about dreadlocks or hair locking. Watch. This is hair. I looked this up in the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. It says in the Josephus reports that Solomon's bodyguard was distinguished by youthful beauty and luxuriant heads of hair. In the history of Samson, we read of the 7 locks of his head. Now, think about it. I want y'all to really think. Did Samson have 7 dreadlocks? That just 1 dreadlock, 2 dreadlock, 3 dreadlock, 4 dreadlock, 5, 6, 7? Nah, man, he didn't have that. He had the 7 pieces of hair hanging, 7 clumped together pieces of hair. Watch this. It said the 7 locks of his head. It is likely that the expression signifies the plaits. Well, that's 7 cornrows, man. Where you think Nipsey Hussle got that from? It said it signifies the 7 plaits of hair, which are even now often worn by the young Bedouin warrior of the desert. When you look up these Bedouin warriors, bro, they just had long braids that came down. Long, we looked it up, right? They just had long braided hair. 7 braids, they were just long. That's it. The word locks, you get into that word and you look at the word locks, it's not dreadlocks, it's not hair that's been left to mat together. It tells you it's plaited hair. They were able to take the hair out, wash it, let it breathe. You know, he was sprinkling this gold dust inside of it. When you read into Josephus about Samson, He sprinkled gold dust in his hair. He would be hopping from in his chariot, going to his little rose bushes, hair just sparkling in the sun. Oh yeah, his bodyguards too. They would sprinkle the dust in their hair, man. The gold, like gold flake. That was Solomon. Not that Rudy Poo gold either. Not that middle of the mall. It was getting real gold flake. You gotta have some dough to just throw gold flakes in your hair and just let it be carried away with the wind. Come on, man. Daily they did it. They did it daily. Every day they would sprinkle. Sprinkle me, baby. You gotta see, man. And you know, I'm gonna go into the I'm gonna go into the research on the dreadlocks. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. And you know, we're gonna see that it wasn't our custom to do that. And we already, you know, I think brothers have brought it out that it wasn't our custom. But I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do some research. I had to do my own research and come with it. So you know, hey, the research is there. And again, we can't make a brother cut his hair or not, or whatever the case may be. Either you follow it or you don't. That's it. You know, but the research is there. It's important for us to know what we're supposed to do and what everybody else did. Why? This is why. Go back to Ezekiel. We'll go back to Ezekiel. Where was I? Ezekiel 40. 44 verse 21. Neither shall any priest drink wine when they enter into the inner court. Neither shall they take for their wives a widow, nor whore that is put away. For they shall take maidens of the seed of the house of Israel, or a widow that had a priest before. Why? And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane. This was the point. The Most High wanted us to be the difference between what was holy and what was polluted and filthy, and cause them to discern between clean and unclean, because there had to be a difference. Now, the difference was in the standard of how we did things. And that's your custom to eat rat. Well, our custom is to eat lamb. Is your custom to eat sushi off of naked bodies? Well, we ain't doing that. We're going to wash our hands. There had to be a difference between the clean and the unclean. Why? Because it didn't help the fact that we all looked alike. We was all dark-skinned people with beards, for the most part. There was a bunch of dark-skinned folk with beard running around, or a bunch of brown-skinned people with beards. Different shades, so we all basically looked the same. We looked like the Egyptians. We looked like the Arabians. But the difference was in how we carried ourselves and in the standard. The Most High gave us the standard. Verse 24. And in controversy they shall stand in judgment, and they shall judge it according to my judgments, not according to what you felt like or what you wanted. That's the difference. And they shall keep my laws, my statutes, and all mine assemblies, and they shall hallow my Sabbaths. And they shall come at no deed, and they shall come at no dead person to defile themselves, but for father, or for mother, or for son, or for daughter, or for brother, or for sister, that hath no husband, that they may defile themselves. So it's giving you, the only people that the priest can defile themselves with, as far as a dead body, were these near of kin people. So they wasn't just everybody, let's go to Nipsey Hussle's funeral. Nah, if he wasn't your kin, let his family do that. Verse 27. No. Verse 26. And after he is cleansed, they shall reckon unto him 7 days. And in the day that he goeth into the sanctuary, unto the inner court, to minister in the sanctuary, he shall offer a sin offering, saith the Lord. And it shall be unto them for an inheritance. I am their inheritance, and ye shall give them no possession in Israel. I am their possession. They shall eat the meat offerings and the sin offerings and the trespass offering, and every dedicated thing in Israel shall be theirs. So remember, the priests had no inheritance. So everything that they ate, it came from what we offered. Now you see why the Most High was like, bring the best. You can't be bringing them now raggedy meat, right? Bringing them the worst of the worst. You got to bring them the best, because They had no means of their own. 30. And the first of all fruits and all things, and every oblation of all, and every sort of your oblation shall be the priest's. Ye shall also give unto the priest the first of your dough, that he may cause the blessing to rest in thine house. The priest shall not eat of anything that is dead of itself or torn, whether it be fowl or beast. Right? Everybody understand that?
Sir.
So the priest, the offering that we offer, man, was for the priest. They needed the best of the best.
Does the dough represent your income?
The first of your dough, really, I'm thinking that's talking about your flour. Let's look.
Well, I'm just thinking,
Well,
it's street knowledge.
No, I ain't talking about dough like that.
Okay.
No.
But that's
Because the scriptures, they do say, loose thy bread for thy neighbor.
Right.
But when it does talk about bread, give us this day our daily bread. It's talking about money, food, but dough here, watch. Ezekiel. Yeah, it wasn't that much slang. When you say dough, that was like an extension from bread. Right? Give me the bread. Give me where the dough at. What's up?
But that's the street language is that they take these words and use it as a metaphor. So I got no bread, but I need some bread. We gotta make this bread.
Gotta make this bread, yeah.
The bread was
your daily portion. Yeah. Give us this day our daily bread, our daily portion. Where we at? Ezekiel 44.
30.
Yeah. Talking about meal. Right? So you shall give the priest the first of your dough. Yeah, this is talking about, it's going back and just reiterating it in a different word. The first, the best of everything. The food, the dough, the meals. Right? Right. Yeah, kneading trough, meaning dough, meal, course meal. Yeah, so it wasn't slang for money. Bread, when it said bread, it tells you, like, loose thy bread for thy neighbor. In Ecclesiastes, I think it's like 27. It says, loose thy bread. Let's see. Ecclesiastes 26, 27 it is. Ecclesiastes 29. It says, oh no, it doesn't say bread. It says loose thy money for thy brother. Yeah. So it does say money. Ecclesiastes 29 and verse 10. But it does say, give us this day our daily bread. Let's talk about your food. What you eat. Where we headed now? 1 Peter 2 and 4. 1 Peter's 2 and 4. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious. Yea, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices. So Romans 12 and 1, right? Offer yourself as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable. It's telling us right here, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices, acceptable to the Most High by Yahushua. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I say in Sion, a chief cornerstone, speaking of who? Yahushua, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. Because remember, when Yahushua came, was he not rejected of his brethren? Like he said, if you would have known who you were killing, you wouldn't have killed me. Right? So it said that he was the builders disallowed. A stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word. Because that's what happened. The Pharisees, the ones that didn't believe, they stumbled at the parables. They stumbled when Christ spoke. The only ones that didn't were the 12. Because why? They sat around and they asked them, like, what you mean by this? What you talking about here? Everyone else stumbled, man. They were cut to the heart. They said that he blasphemed, right? Oh, you calling yourself the Son of God? But if you knew, if they knew who they were dealing with, man, they wouldn't have stumbled. They would have took that time to figure it out. It says, and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. So it's showing you that the priesthood no longer is just about the Levites, right? The priesthood has now been translated to the nation, all the men. It says, ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a particular people, that ye should show forth the praise of him who have called you out of darkness unto his marvelous light. Right? Jeremiah 1 verse 5 says that you were chosen from the foundation of the earth. Right? In verse 10, which in time past were not people. Why? Why did it say in time past we were not a people?
We were helpless.
Right? Yeah, Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Since you rejected my word, I will also reject thee, and thy son shall be no priest unto me. You see that? So we weren't a people because we weren't operating under the law of the Most High. That's what makes you not a people. There's no unity, there's no brotherhood, there's no sisterhood, there's no charity, there's no fruits of the Spirit. That's what makes you a nation. That's what makes you a people. So, which in time past, Jeremiah 1 and 5, you can add that in, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. Which in time past were not a people, but now are the people of the Most High, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Why? Because Yahweh Shai died for those sins, died for the sins of Israel, and through that, we were now given the mercy that when we sinned or committed an offense or went off, we didn't just have to die straight away. We had that mercy to be able to repent and come back. Let's see here. Where are we at? That was it? Verse 10, right? Any questions?
There's one online, off the topic.
Online, off the top. Any questions on the reading before we go into these off the topics? All right, yeah, short reading, informative, straight to the point. Let's see here. Yeah, other camps like ISUPK don't allow dreads. They say it's not our custom. Yeah, I watched a video with ISUPK. They had the brother cut his dreads off. Now, before they did it, they didn't just walk up to him and cut his dreads off. You know, he wanted to take his soldier's test. I like how they did it too. They put it online. They said, listen, before you take your test, or I think he took the test and passed it. But they were saying, you understand that here in this school, we don't allow the dreadlocks. It's not our custom. They said, you understand that this is your will, right? You got the free will. You're cutting your hair. We're not making you do it. He said, y'all ain't making me do it. This is you understanding the school rules, blah, 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 blah. They had it on camera. So he could never come back and be like, see, y'all made me cut my hair. Nope. It's documented that if you want to be down with this school, this is what you got to do. So, yeah, you know, again, it's about, the one thing is about showing that it's not our custom and not just saying. You got to be able to show the information. Now, they didn't go through and show the information, not saying that they don't have it, but they didn't do that on that video. I'm sure they have the information showing that it's not our custom. Remember, the scriptures say to prove all things, so what I'm going to do on a late night tip is get into that that 4 a.m. study mode that I usually get into. That's what I mean, man, it's funny, man. It's weird. My brain, it be buzzing at night. And that's what I study. I'd be up to 4 or 5, 3, but I be getting it in. That's where a lot of this stuff be, it just, man, you know, Most High, man.
I get like that too, but my body be so tired.
Yeah, my body be tired. My brain be dancing. Brain be like, Yeah, right? Just be moving. My body, my knees be hurting. I'm like, damn, man, I need some rest. The brain is like, no, sir. You ain't sleeping until I'm ready. So, shalom, brothers and sisters, happy Sabbath. Come. Men's goers of the Lord, does the Most High make people become homosexuals? Give me that one, please. Of course not. Of course the Most High doesn't create you to be a homosexual. You know which one I want? Give me that. It's in Ezra's. Yeah. No, it's in Wisdom of Solomon. We don't find it. Hold on real quick. You don't find this. Pull up the cord in the back. So the question is, if men's goings are the Most High, go there real quick. Somebody get that one. Does the Most High make people homosexuals? Can someone please explain that to me, please? Yes, we will. You got it? Yeah. Read that for me. Oh, is he flipped?
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24.
Go ahead.
Man's goings are of the Lord.
Right.
How can a man then understand his own way?
Right. So man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Now, this is not saying that because man's goings are of the Lord, that because you went off and became a homosexual or a drug dealer or a killer, that was the Most High that did that. Because go to James real quick. We're trying to get this mic back up. Oh, go to James. Go to James chapter 1 and verse 12. Somebody else get me Psalms 37:23. Read that.
James chapter 1, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Blessed is the man that endured temptation.
Right?
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
Right, because there's many temptations that will hit man or hit you. There's a lot of men that weren't homosexuals and they were tempted into that lifestyle. Right? So it says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. It doesn't matter what temptation it is, what evil it is, the Most High didn't direct your path into that evil. What's that?
The question is on that one is people say that we don't have free will.
Well, we do have free will. You have the freedom to choose. That's why. Read it one more time.
James chapter 1, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Blessed is the man that endured temptation.
Right. So it's saying if you endure temptation, what does that mean? You have the choice to either endure or not. So we do have free will. You can either endure the temptation or not. That's what I found already. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 13. Right. Go ahead.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
Go ahead.
Which the Lord has promised to them that love him.
Go ahead.
Let no man say when he is tempted.
Let no man say when he is tempted with evil. Because the Most High don't tempt with evil. Go ahead.
I am tempted of God.
I am what?
I am tempted of God.
Go ahead.
For God cannot be tempted with evil.
Read it. Go ahead.
Neither tempted he any man.
Right. Read verse 14.
But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust.
When he's drawn away by his own lust. Come on.
And enticed.
So, if a man was once straight and he becomes a homosexual, he's drawn away by his own lust. That's not the Most High guiding his steps. How do we know? Psalms 37 and verse 23. Read that. Make sure you lost it. Yeah.
I got it.
Okay. Read that.
37:23, sir.
Uh-huh.
Okay. This Psalm 37:23.
Right. So here's further education on the first Psalms. Go ahead.
The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord.
Right. You see that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Because what is he walking in?
In the Lord's way.
He's walking in the commandments. He's walking in the law. Right. So if you walking in the law, the scriptures say not to be a homosexual. So if you're becoming a homosexual, what are you walking in? I want the scripture. Who got it? I want the scripture, man. It's in Proverbs. There's a way that seemeth right. It says there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the ways there are of death. Proverbs 14:12? Yeah. Right, read that.
Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
Right.
But the end thereof are the ways of death.
Right. So if somebody's walking into that homosexual realm, they're walking in their own way. They're not walking in the way of the Lord, the way of the Most High. Their steps are not being guided by the Most High. As we read, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Right? I'm going to read this. Psalms 85:13. It says, righteousness shall go before him, and he shall set us in the way of his steps. So how do you know a man's footsteps are being guided by the Most High? Well, they're walking in the law, statutes and commandments. They're not walking in their own ways. Now, you can see it. We go through it all the time in different classes. It says you shall reap the fruit. The Most High is not mocked. The man shall reap what he sows. You shall reap the fruit of your doings. How do you know what a man is sowing, or how you know how a man is walking? Well, what is coming back to him? Somebody had their hand up.
Oh yeah, I had a precept on the homosexuality.
Go ahead. What you got?
Leviticus 18, verse 22.
Okay, go ahead.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind.
Right.
It is an abomination.
Right. It's abomination. Now, that's the law letting us know that you can't be a homosexual. You're not supposed to be a homosexual.
That's right.
Now, check this out. Not only was there a law given, we'll go to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 15 and verse 14. No, that's not the one I want. Oh. It's Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiastes 7:29. Excuse me. Give me this one. Ecclesiastes 7:29 in the Bible.
Ecclesiastes.
So why did a law have to be given on homosexuality? Well, this is why. Read.
Ecclesiastes 7:29. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
See, the Most High made man upright. He made him the right way. So when he said, man shall not dwell alone, I'm going to make you a helpmeet, and he gave you Eve, you weren't supposed to go back and try to get you a Steve if he was a man. He made you upright. He made you the right way, the way he wanted. A man for a woman, woman for man. But what was the problem? Read on.
But they have sought out many inventions.
They have done what?
Sought out many inventions.
Right. Mankind has sought out many inventions. Let me invent a way for a man to sleep with a man. Let me invent a thought process that justifies me getting with Bob. Let me invent something. Let me invent homosexuality. Let me invent homosexual love. Let me invent the LBTGWXYZ. Let me invent these things to justify, so that now I can fall into these temptations, and when I fall to these temptations, I'm now justified in it. But we can't blame the Most High, because why? He said He made man upright. He didn't make you to want to search out no man being a man, or a woman with a woman, or a man with an animal, or a man with a dolphin. He didn't invent these things. Man did. He made us upright. So again, when it says a man's steps are led by the Most High, let's talk about that righteous man. Right? Watch this. What you got?
Galatians 5 and 15. Galatians 5:16.
Go ahead, somebody get it.
Galatians 5 and 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
Hold that real quick. Hold that one. That's a good one. Go to Proverbs 21:16. Proverbs 21 verse 16. And then we'll go into the Galatians. Read that.
Proverbs 21:16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding.
He wanders out of what?
The way of understanding.
Right, because now he's walking according to his own way. He's no longer walking in the way of the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the Most High. So his footsteps aren't guided by the Most High. And so if a man was born straight and all of a sudden he's gay, he's walking out of the way of understanding. Go ahead.
Shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
You see that? Because there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the ways there are of death. Now go to Galatians. Go ahead, Lewis. Where was that Galatians?
Galatians 5:16. This is the way. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
It says walk in the what?
In the Spirit.
Right.
And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
Right. So if we walk in the Spirit and let the Spirit guide us, you're not going to fulfill the lust of the flesh. You're not going to fall to the temptation. Now your steps are being guided by the Most High. Go ahead.
For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit. And the Spirit against the flesh.
Right, because these two things, they fight against each other. The Spirit wants its way, the flesh wants its way. But what you going to give into? Read.
And these are contrary.
Right, you see that? They're against one another. They're opposites. Go ahead.
The one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
Right, read.
But if ye be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law.
Right, so y'all get that, right? Don't walk in the Spirit to not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So, back to the question, and hopefully you got some understanding from that let's talk about a man's ways are the Most High. Or what does it say? What was the first scripture that we went to? It's in Proverbs, right? Proverbs, what was it, 20? 20. Right, when it says, go back there real quick. A man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man understand his way? It's talking about the righteous. The Most High didn't lead you into homosexuality. The Most High doesn't tempt you with evil. I mean, that would be you gotta look at it. Just on a basic, that'd be very, very, very basic. That would be very contradictory. Go to one more. Go to Psalms. Go to Go to Proverbs 16 and verse 9. Actually, don't worry about that one. Don't worry about that one. Let's see here. That God had made that man upright. They have saw that many inventions. Oh, right. Okay, you threw the scripture in there that I wanted. Right. Question, 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. What does abusers of themselves with mankind mean? Go there. Yeah, basically. Going right back into what we were just talking about.
First Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9.
Right?
Oh, yes. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh?
Uh-huh.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators,
right,
nor idolaters,
right,
nor adulterers, nor effeminate.
Right? So all these things are not going to enter into the kingdom. Fornicators, idolaters, so you worshiping idols, you fornicating. What else? Adulterers. So you women that are stepping out on your husbands. These things won't enter into the kingdom. Nor effeminate. Right? A man, it says a man becoming of a woman, or a man with female traits, or a man that acts like a woman.
You know what's crazy about the feminine part?
Mm-hmm.
I was looking in the, what is this? The New Oxford Annotated Bible, right? And when it got to the part where it said effeminate, it just said male prostitutes. But
right, it
like,
says it right here. Oh, I'm going to read it. Check this out. I'll read it, but that's where I was going. This is in the Annotated Bible and Apocrypha. It says, do you not know that the wrongdoers will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, male prostitutes, and sodomites. So it talks about abusers of themselves with mankind. That's what it's talking about. Homosexuals. So here goes your New Testament. No homos will get the kingdom. Where is that in the New Testament? Well, y'all took it out of the gay Bible, right? Because that's what they do. But that's what it's going into. Abusers of themselves with mankind. That's what it's talking about. Homosexuals. So it's telling you that's an abuse. You're abusing yourselves. It's terrible, man. But they call it love. Love is love, right? And they throw a rainbow on it. It's very, very filthy. But yeah, that's going into that homosexuality, that sodomite. You know, you can link that. You can go right into Romans, right? You go right into Romans with that. All right, go to Romans 125. No. Romans 1:24. Romans 1:24.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 24. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts.
Right.
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves.
Yeah. How do you dishonor your body between yourselves? Well, as a man, you go lay with another man. Or you go lay with an animal. As a woman, you go lay with another woman, or you go lay with an animal. Or you do some defiled sexual acts, you know, that involve different instruments and things like that. Reverse 25.
Verse 25. Who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie,
right?
And worship and serve the creature more than the Creator.
That's what it was about. How do we change the truth? How do we disannul Leviticus and say that homosexuality is okay? Go ahead.
Who is blessed forever. Amen.
Uh-huh.
For this cause, Yahweh gave them up unto vile affections.
You see those vile affections? It's vile for a man to be with a man. It's vile for a man to go sleep with an animal. It's vile. It's filthy. It's like a foul blot, right?
I was going to say that answers the question previously as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right? Because even the women did it. The natural use of a woman was to be a help to a man and to be fruitful and multiply. But you can't do that when you're with another woman. That natural use of the woman is now gone.
All right.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. And likewise also unto the man.
Uh-huh.
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
They did what?
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
Come on.
burning their lust one toward another.
Yeah, you see that? They're burning their lust one towards another. That homosexuality, that homosexual lust. Read.
Men with men.
That abusers of mankind with themselves. Men with men.
Working that which is unseemly.
Right. It's unseemly. It's not convenient for a man to lay with another man. There's no convenience in that. It's unseemly. It's not right. Read. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be politically correct. We got children. Go ahead.
And receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
Right. And they do receive that recompense, man. When they catching all these diseases, when gay clubs getting shot up, when they losing rights, and I mean when they didn't so many things that happen, man. Most High is sending out those angels on them. That's right. To recompense that evil. All right. So I mean, y'all got that right. Right. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. You're absolutely right. Yes, Sister Mary.
Stuff like that, you can't even. But he told his boss what happened. They said we have to leave that stuff alone. You can't mess with it. But the guy had nothing but tight leather clothes on. Yeah, he had all the stuff on, covered his face with the mask. Yeah, and the dude walked in there. He just looked at him. And he had to kind of shut it out of your view. Not pay attention to it. But how can you not pay attention?
You can't unsee that.
Yeah.
You can't see another grown man in a cage.
I said, oh man, why'd you tell me that? He said, I had to tell somebody.
Yeah, he had to get it off his chest and let the demons go on somebody else. That's
but you can't say stuff like you're running this stuff like that now.
Yeah, because now they push it to the open. Like I was watching something, they're trying to change the law of consent to 10. Where's that at? Yeah, probably Cali first. They're trying to push the age of consent, sexual consent, to the age of 10. So your 10-year-old daughter or son can give their own consent to have sex at 10. Think about that. They can't even pay a damn bill. They can't even think right. And they can consent to sex at 10. But that's Esau trying to do what? Turn your sons and daughters into little whores, pedophilia, homosexuals, gender identification, all these things they push. It's easy. You get them at an early age. Get them at an early age, and you can make them whatever you want. Young, train up a child. In the way which he shall go, and he shall not depart. You do it early enough, he'll be that little homosexual for life. He'll be that little tranny, that little switch hitter. He'll do it. You train him. That's why it's important for us to train our kids on the opposite end, man. Not let them be subject to all the filth that's out there, all the garbage television and all the video gaming. It ain't always good, man. Gotta watch what they watch. Gotta watch it with them. Any other questions? Prisoner religion, so-called emergency. Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else, we'll end it with the ending prayers. Do it like that. If it's about to happen out there with that rain, maybe. Oh, was it? Okay, yeah. So we're not gonna go out to teach, but we do got the cable show tonight, so yay! Should be a good one.
What channel is that, sir? Is that on the radio?
Comcast Local 17, or you can stream it on hmstv.org. Yeah. I mean, if that's it, we can rise. Let's rise and face the east. Let's get all the children. Let's get all the wee little ones in here.
Turn that camera facing now. Facing the east. Get that east. Get the east stuff. Nah, I can't. I should have. I would probably not be
Get them in. Let's get them in.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Shemai.
Shemai.
Hear our prayers.
Hear our prayers.
Hear our cries.
Hear our cries.
This Sabbath.
This Sabbath.
We ask Yahweh.
We ask Yahweh.
That you guide and protect us.
That you guide and protect
That
us.
you watch over us.
That you watch over us.
With your holy and righteous angels.
Your holy and righteous angels.
And that you send them, Yahweh.
That you send them out
To protect us.
to protect us.
Protect Yahshua.
Protect Yahshua.
Protect your people.
Protect your people.
To heal us.
To heal us.
To watch over us.
Watch over us.
To protect us.
To protect us.
To bless us.
To bless us.
To strengthen us.
To strengthen us.
And we ask,
And we ask
that you send us
that you send us
your wisdom,
your wisdom,
your knowledge,
your knowledge,
and your understanding.
and your understanding.
Build us, Yahweh.
Build us, Yahweh.
Build our patience.
Build our patience.
Build our faith.
Build our faith.
Build our brotherhood.
Build our brotherhood.
Build our charity.
Build our charity.
Endow us
Endow
with
us
spiritual powers.
with spiritual power.
And forgive our sins
And forgive our sins
as we forgive the sins of others.
as we forgive the sins of others.
We ask Yahweh.
We ask Yahweh.
Send Yahweh Shai.
Send Yahweh Shai.
Send your son.
Send your son.
Send him quickly
Send him quickly
to deliver us.
to deliver us.
Do it, Yahweh.
Do it, Yahweh.
Do it, Yahweh.
Do it, Yahweh.
Because you said you would.
Because you said you would.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
From water.
The water.
From Yad.
From Yah.
Aman.
Aman.
You can tell him to shut down some of it.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Bahawa'ah.
Natalanawa.
Natalanawa.
Hathawara.
Hatawara.
And it's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Bahawa'ah.
Natalanawa.
Natalanawa.
Awar.
Awar.
Lara'ah.
Lara'ah.
And it's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Bahawa'ah.
Natalanawa.
Natalanawa.
Ha'ayal.
Ha'ayal.
Korah.
Korah.
La Para'ah.
Korah.
Ha'ain.
Ha'ain.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah.
Ha'awa'ah.
Natalanawa.
Natalanawa.
Shaman.
Shaman.
Zayath.
Zayah.
Lamashah.
Lamashah.
Yasharallah.
Yasharallah.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Yasharallah, Israel.
And if anybody wants to be anointed after, we'll be more than glad to do that. This is Psalms 92. It is a good thing.
It is a good thing
to give thanks unto Yahweh.
to give thanks unto Yahweh.
To sing praises unto thy name.
To sing praise unto thy name.
O Most High.
O Most High.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
And thy faithfulness every night.
And thy faithfulness every night.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
Upon the psaltery.
Upon the psaltery.
Upon the harp with a solemn sound.
Upon the harp with a solemn sound.
For thou art Yahweh.
For thou art Yahweh.
Hast made me glad through thy works.
Hast made me glad through thy works.
I will triumph in the works of thy hands.
I will triumph in the works of thy hands.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
How great are thy works.
How great are thy works.
And thy thoughts are very deep.
And thy thoughts are very deep.
A brutish man knoweth not.
A brutish man knoweth not.
Neither do a fool understand this.
Neither do a fool understand this.
When the wicked spring as the grass.
When the wicked spring as the grass.
And when all the workers of iniquity do flourish.
When all the workers of iniquity do flourish.
It is that they shall be destroyed forever.
It is that they shall be destroyed forever.
But thou, Yahweh,
are
most high forevermore.
Most high forevermore.
For lo thine enemies.
For lo thine enemies.
O Yahweh. For lo thine enemies shall perish.
For lo thine enemies shall perish.
All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered.
All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered.
But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn.
But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
My eye also shall see.
My eye also shall see.
My desire of my enemies.
My desire of my enemies.
And my ear shall hear my desire.
And my ear shall hear my desire.
Of the wicked that rise up against me.
Of the wicked that rise up against me.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
He shall grow like the cedar in Lebanon.
He shall grow like the cedar in Lebanon.
Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh Shai.
Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh Shai.
Shall flourish in the courts of the Most High.
Shall flourish in the courts of the Most High.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
To show that Yahweh is upright.
To show that Yahweh is upright.
He is my rock.
He is my rock.
And there is no unrighteousness in him.
And there is no unrighteousness in him.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
The water. The Yad. Aman.
Aman.
This is Psalms 133 in Hebrew. Shayar.
Shayar.
Hamalawath.
Hamalawath.
Ladawah.
Ladawah.
Hana.
Hana.
Ma.
Ma.
Tawa.
Tawa.
Wama.
Wama.
Naayam.
Naayam.
Shabbath.
Shabbath.
Akim.
Akim.
Gum.
Gum.
Yachad.
Yachad.
Kashaman.
Kashaman.
Hatawa.
Hatawa.
Al.
Al.
Harash.
Harash.
Yarad.
Yarad.
Al.
Al.
Hazakwan.
Hazakwan.
Zakwan.
Zakwan.
Aharon.
Aharon.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Alpaya.
Alpaya.
Madawatyawa.
Madawatyawa.
Katal.
Katal.
Haram1.
Haram1.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Al.
Al.
Hararia.
Hararia.
Tazawan.
Tazawan.
Salakia. Tazayawan.
Tazayawan.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Sham.
Sham.
Tazawa.
Tazawa.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Af.
Ah.
Habaraka.
Habaraka.
Hayam Yam.
Hayam Yam.
Ai.
Ai.
Haiwalam.
Haiwalam.
Aman.
Aman.
This is Psalms chapter 133. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
Bahasham Yahweh Shai.
The water.
The water.
The Yad.
The Yad.
Aman.
Aman.
Let's circle up.
Face the camera. Boards. You can flip around. Yep. Come on, little youngins. Everybody get up in it. Get up in there. That's good. It is all good. Come on, you gotta stand up straight. Not the top. Y'all ready? Call the count.
But of Israel, Imadi, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham. Kum Yashrala. Kum Yashrala. Kum Yashrala. Kum Yashrala. Kum Yashrala. Kum Yashrala.
Get up the top. Turn to face the sisters. One, Yashrala. Madam Shabbat, gotta turn. Call it.
Salute not the daughters of Zion, men of Israel, Imadi, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Latan Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shema Latan Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Get up the top. Dismissed.
Amen.
Everybody online, shalom. We'll see y'all back on Monday. The water for being with us, the water for the patience, the water for the encouragement, the water for the love. We'll see y'all on Monday. Shalom.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Oh, do you? All right.
but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, it's Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kinda odd. On the Passover, Christ was born, and the